We are live.
Yeah, we are live. Hello, everybody. Hopefully, you can hear us. We're live now. So, I'm going to say refresh the page if you don't see us or hit play, but you wouldn't know that. So, welcome to everyone who's typing in the chat window. I love that you all know what to do now. No prompts from me. Welcome to all the people who have already typed in. I won't attempt to name everybody because there's so many there. And Amy's here. I need to introduce Amy. Amy's here too today. So welcome to Amy. Sorry, Amy. Just got distracted by the chat window flowing for a second. But Amy's here for our final webinar for the year. Well, she's been here anyway for all the other webinars and, well, pretty much all of them and moderating the chat window. But today she's going to be on the screen with me and somehow we're going to manage the chat window at the same time and with Katrina's help too. And I'm just going to see if I can turn on the YouTube comments view. I don't know if you can see that, Amy, as well.
I'm not even seeing the chat view in this. I have to jump tabs to your
Yeah,
community.
it's
So I
annoying.
need to
I've got
log
the two
in
monitors.
or
Yeah, I've got the two monitors thing going on. Can you all hear us okay? Can you hear us? I'll just pop that in. I'm presuming. Oh, people are saying hello to us. That's good. That's a good sign. It's great. Yes, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. Yay. Oh, lots of yeses. That's great. So we'll get started in around 5 minutes. Oh my gosh, we've got lots to get through as per usual today. But, you know, Amy's a little bit quiet. I wonder if we can change that. I
you
don't know.
it's
It's
this
Amy.
my mic. It's always my mic. Let me see what I can do.
All right. Amy's going to have a little fiddle.
I am
Thank
gonna
you for
fiddle.
letting us all know you can hear us. All right. Oh my gosh. Debbie doesn't hear anything. Is there something she needs to do? Yes, there is.
Yeah, I can't hear you. That's a problem.
I'll try and type something. Debbie, maybe refresh the page.
I hate to go to my external mic. This one, I love the Blue Spark, but it makes me have to talk up
Oh,
here. Yeah,
oh
now you
yeah.
heard me, right?
Yeah, I do. That's really good. That's why mine is so close to my mouth. It's just a little bit crazy. Katrina,
Yeah, I'll
Richard can
try.
hear you. All right. Keith is
Here's
only
the
hearing clicks. Oh, Keith.
thing. If I hold it, I can't write in the chat at all. It depends what you want me to do.
Sound issues. I'm just going to suggest
Here we go.
if you can improve your internet, if possible. Go closer to router. Or kick family members off.
It's the Roblox. Be careful. My girls cannot play Roblox tonight for this reason.
Oh my gosh. It's funny, you're into Roblox territory. At my house, it's, you know, older kids' games, but it's funny, my 15-year-old, he's gone away from Fortnite, but he's come back to Fortnite again now. So anyway. Oh, I've lost Amy. All right. I'm just gonna hello, Katrina. Let me just see if I can, I'm gonna just click on your video. And oh, you've gone live. I didn't mean to do that. So I'll just go for 1 minute, and I've got Amy. I'll just pop on me for a minute, Amy, as well, and that way I can just talk to everyone. And when we get started officially, I'll bring you both onto the screen if that's okay. Totally organised we are. Just checking the chat window here. Oh, Hazel, it's 1 a.m. Wow, you are impressive. Impressive. And Jen's got Minecraft with her son. Yeah, we did the Minecraft stage. It was quite a few years ago for us. Elisa says, having trouble. Is it on YouTube Live? Yes, you can watch directly on YouTube, and I have the link handy somewhere. Hold on, I'll grab it for you. And that way, you're totally welcome to watch on Flipgrid. Not Flipgrid. I'm reading things when I shouldn't be reading. On YouTube. Here we go. All right, I'm pasting it in. Actually, you can click on the video that you're looking at right now. If you click on the title, it will take you over to YouTube. But here is the link as well. So you can be in either place. Pamela's just made it from grocery shopping. Awesome. I love it. I love it. Oh, it's all good. So Yvonne from Southern California, or Sal, I can't even pronounce how you typed it the first time, but thank you for the correction of your spelling. Uh, Happy holiday season to you too, Susan. Yes, absolutely. Keith just left a Lions Club meeting. There you go. Well, that is nice that you've come over to us instead. Hello to Brendan, Jennifer, Bronwyn, Pamela, Sherry, Melissa, all the others, and so on. Skipping dinner, says Karen. I had a late breakfast because it's like midday now for me, just about. And I'm going to have a late lunch, very late lunch, I think, at this point. All right. Sorry, Amy and Katrina, I've just left you off for a minute, but I'll get started officially in a second, and then I'll bring you back on again. It was good to test you, test everything out. Hello, Alana in Sydney. Brielle's at school today, but no students. Oh, that's a good thing, right? The best way for school to be. No, I'm kidding. My boys are finished up last week, end of last week. Richard's going back to virtual after the holidays. Yeah. I was just saying to Amy, and I hate to say this to those of you in the States, but in Australia, we're pretty good, touch wood, cross fingers and all that sort of stuff at the moment. So in Melbourne, where we were really locked down for ages, we are not so locked down now. We have freedom back again. Cafes and restaurants have opened up again, and yeah, it's so nice to just see people and get out a little bit. So there you go. I'm excited for this, Michelle, too. It's a little bit of an unknown today. Who knows what's going to happen? Oh my goodness. All right. I'm going to just get started officially and introduce things. Then I will introduce my two guests today. Well, Katrina's just popping in for a quick hello. Amy is hopefully going to stick around for a bit longer, although she happens to have disappeared at the moment, so that's okay. I'll just play it by ear. Internet is a funny thing. All right, I will get started officially, and let's just switch over to this. I'm going to give you some links as well when we get going. Okay, sharing screen. Hello, Amy, back again. All right, I'm going to do this version. Dun, da, da. I've got Katrina on. Let's add Amy in too. There we go. There's three of us now. Yay. And I think,
Great
Katrina, you might be
photo.
muted. I might unmute you just for a second. Oh no, that you've chosen to mute yourself. That's okay. Stay there.
Here we go.
I'll do a quick intro and then officially introduce both of you. So welcome everyone to today's session. It's a little bit different today, and I do not know how this is going to go and exactly how long we're going to go for, but we're just going to roll with it. So today's session is really an ask anything type session, and we've had a lot of pre-submitted questions, so we're going to show you a lot of those, and hopefully we'll get through some other ones as well. But welcome if you've never been to one of my webinars. Wow, you're choosing a great one for today to come to for the first one. And my name's Katie. I live in Melbourne and basically do music tech training for teachers as my full-time gig. I have a couple of boys and a dog. The dog is on a retreat today, so she's not even in the house. Those that come regularly will know that she likes to interrupt us, but she's having a little holiday with some other golden retrievers. So I've got a silent house for once, which is nice. And I have my website, Midnight Music, and I do these sorts of things once a month, but have an online community as well where I help lots of people with courses and training and a forum. So today's session, I'm going to just talk a little bit about what it's going to look like, what I think it's going to look like. I'm going to do this quick, brief intro, and then we're going to get on to some questions. Now, we had some questions submitted ahead of time in Flipgrid. So a number of you, I think 42 to be exact, submitted questions ahead of time, and they were fantastic. It was so good to see people. You will see them today in the webinar. So if you submitted them before 4 p.m. yesterday, you've made it into the webinar at some point. And we're going to do a few questions in one section, then we're going to have some giveaways, and then we're going to have some more questions, and then some more giveaways, and so on. That's going to basically be 4 times over, I think. And then at the end, if there's more residual questions, hopefully we'll get to those as well. And if not, there'll be other times that we can answer questions too. So, I do want to say that, what was I gonna say? It's totally gone from my mind. I've just had a mental blank. Anyway, that's basically the sort of the format for today's ones. Oh, I know. I'm gonna briefly tell you what the topics or areas, that the questions that people submitted ahead of time fit into, so that if you have a question in that same area, you can maybe save it for when that time pops up. So there are some questions to do with remote learning and kind of like setting up your remote learning workspace and making that better. There is a whole section on sound related things to do with remote teaching. And this is to do with like how to share sound in a really good way so that your students can hear it, whether that's your voice, an instrument, or sound that's from a YouTube video or Spotify or anything else. I'm going to do a bit of an explainer about all of that because that is such a hard thing to get your head around. Once you do, though, hopefully it's all good. There are a couple of questions about Seesaw, which Amy is an expert in, and so she will answer those ones. There are some questions on kind of like presentation tools like Google Slides, Nearpod, and Pear. So I've grouped those all together. There are some questions on audio related things. And then there's a whole stack of miscellaneous ones, which just didn't fit into any one category. So we will tackle all of those. So if you've got something along those lines, you can hold out and wait till that section pops up. But we will try our best to answer stuff as we go too. Now, question time I'm going to get into. No, I'm not going to get into that yet. Oh, I've missed a whole couple of slides. This is what happens when you don't open them up. Let me just go back here. Housekeeping issues. As I say every time we have one of these, if you are experiencing issues, it's usually the internet at your end. So if you can refresh the page or go out and come back in, check whoever else is on your internet at home, kick them off if you can, get closer to your router. It's usually internet related. We've got today myself and Amy and Katrina, who are all going to kind of try and keep an eye on the chat window while we're talking. But Katrina's going to mainly be in there as her sole job for today. So she will disappear from the screen shortly. But Amy and I will try and keep an eye on that too. Now, I will just introduce officially Amy, first of all, to get started. And Amy is my fabulous friend who's in New Jersey and is an elementary music teacher. And she's the author of multiple books. You'll see one of those pop up on the screen a little bit later. But Amy agreed to come on board as my Midnight Music coordinator this year, which is so exciting because she helps out in the community every single day, and she's going to do it more than I am sometimes. And it's just been such a joy to have you on board. So welcome, Amy.
Thank you, Katie. I love being here.
Yay. Amy is such an expert in the elementary area. I really wanted to bring her on today because she's going to answer some of the questions and will do a far better job with some of them than I will. So that's Amy. I'm also going to just briefly mention Katrina, who's on today too. So say hello, Katrina. Oh, I've got a slide. Katrina is middle school. Did I get that right? You were doing middle school. She's on a break at the moment, but she's come on board as my Midnight Music content manager this year. And she handles all of the things you see appearing on the blog and the podcast episodes that get published. And she has also been the main driver of the Advent calendar that we've had going this year. And if you haven't seen the Advent calendar, we will pop a link somewhere so that you can go and check that out too. But the Advent calendar, once a day, we have a little thing that pops up, which is either, I don't know, a resource to use or a giveaway to enter or just something fun to do with your students. So go and check that out. We're on day 16 at the moment because it's timed for Australia and obviously goes through to day 25. So so check that out. Lots and lots of fun. So thank you for being here, Katrina. Anything else you want to say? You don't have to.
Oh, no, it's been such a blast to work with you. So I'm excited to see the webinar. I'm just coming on as a fellow teacher here to learn. So
yeah, it's awesome. All right, I will remove you from the stream somehow. I think I can do that here. Is that this one here? Remove. So Amy and I are just left now. Got all the buttons here, and I'm just going to put up a link before we go any further so that you can get entering. Probably some of you have done this already. If you go to this link here, midnightmusic.com.au /party, I thought I would make it a party one. then you'll be taken to a Wakelet collection, and on that Wakelet collection, it's a collection of links for things to do with today's session. And at the top, there are 3 different places that you can enter giveaways. Now, one of them is a Google form, which allows you to enter lots of things at once. There's another one which was part of the Advent calendar and will turn off shortly. That was for the Midnight Music Community membership for 12 months access. And the third one is a giveaway that we're running for some promo codes to access the new Choir Creator app. So the developer of that app, Oliver, was kind enough to give me some promo codes for that. And it gives you a 1-month trial with the app. Now, with that one, I just want to make sure that everybody knows the app is only currently available in Australia, Canada, and the USA. That will change over time, but at the moment, that's the only places that it's available. So the only people that should enter that one are from those countries, because you won't be able to use the promo code. You won't be able to use the actual thing anyway. So if you're in those countries, do feel free to enter. And he's told me that the other countries will be rolling out soon, but for at least maybe another month or so, it's just those countries. So app developers tend to do that. They tend to roll out to certain countries to start off with, and then sort of spread a bit further afterwards. The other thing with that app is that it is iOS only. So if you only have an Android device, there's no use in entering that giveaway. So just stick with it if you're an iOS device. All right. Hopefully everyone's on there, and I'm going to go back to my slides for a minute, and I've just realized I cannot juggle all the things at once. I may be able to. I'm just going to switch a little window around so I can see the chat window, or maybe I should just not worry about it and stick with this. All right. Okay. So click through. I've just checking the chat window there. So click through to that link, and there should be 3 links at the very top. I'm going to show you what this looks like. This is the Wakelet collection. So once you click on that link, it takes you to here, and you'll see that there are 3 different things up the top. Giveaways, enter here. Click through to that one, and click through to that one if you want to enter all 3. And you should. If it doesn't load, just give it a little time, and I will actually give you a secondary link in case the other one is not loading so fast, and that will allow you to get through more quickly, hopefully. Hold on, let me just pop this one in the chat window.
Katrina already did.
Oh, she
did.
Oh,
Yes.
there she did. Yes, she's way ahead of me. All right, I will just leave that Katrina out. It's going to be a much better idea. Let me just pop it into the YouTube chat as well. Hold on. Here we go. We've got some YouTube people on too. All right. Fantastic. I'm going to go back to my slides so we can get started with questions, because we've got a lot to get through. I always say that in every webinar, but it is so true. And it's just so nice to see people's faces and voices and stuff. So, all right. So here we go. So question section number 1. Oh my goodness, remote teaching questions. I kind of prioritize these because if we run out of time, I felt like the remote teaching questions, even if you're not teaching remotely, all of the things are pertinent to whether you're in person or remote. And just bear in mind, you may go remote at any time. So I think they're really important to get through. All right. So first one, I laughed when I saw this one, and I'll tell you why in a second. This is Marianne.
Hi, Katie. My name is Marianne, and I'm from Pennsylvania. My question is, when I am presenting my screen on a Google Meet to my students, how can I use my mouse to point at what I want them to see? When I look over on my iPad to see what my presentation looks like to them, and I am trying to use my mouse, which is the arrow, to show them, where I'm at with the words or whatever I'm presenting, or if I'm trying to circle what I'm presenting, they only see this tiny little bracket, and so they don't know exactly where I'm at. So I was wondering if there is something that I can use so that my students' eyes can go to where exactly I'm speaking about. Thank you for your help.
Now, I'm hoping everyone could hear Marianne's audio. Okay, fantastic. Phew. Now, I did laugh when I saw Marianne's question because literally that day or the day before, I'd hit publish on a YouTube video that I made about a thing called custom cursor. And Amy and I have both been using this. It's hilarious. You can change your cursor to any kind of picture that you want, and it's really cool and really brilliant. So, Marianne, definitely go and check out Custom Cursor. I did pop a link to the article that we wrote and the YouTube video in the Wakelet collection. So do that. Go and check it out. It's lots of fun, and you can change your mouse cursor. I'll show you when I get back to my Chrome browser a little bit later. But you can change it to a smiley face, an Among Us character, a party hat, an Indiana Jones face, and whip. There's all sorts of options in there. So it really does make it a lot more obvious. So hopefully that's a help. All right, let's get on to Carol and dual monitors.
Hi, I'm Carol. I'm from Illinois in the United States, and I'd like to set up dual monitors for use during my my Zoom lessons. Thank you.
Amy, tell me about your dual monitor use. I know that you've just incorporated that this year, I think, into your setup.
When we went remote back in March, I was just at a loss the first day because I was like, I can't see the students and share my screen. That was really the issue. So I went out and grabbed a dual monitor at Best Buy's, and it was an old laptop, so I was using a VGA cable to connect it. So I hardwired it. If you have a more current Mac OS, you could try Sidecar and turn your iPad into a dual monitor as well. And a lot of people just log in on another device to give it another monitor, but I tend to use a dual monitor as well as log in from another device. This way I can see all the kids, see what I'm presenting, and be able to know if I accidentally lose internet, I'll see it on that device I logged in.
Yes, I use dual monitors every day. So by dual, I mean I've got my laptop and I've got my big monitor as well, which is exactly what I'm looking at right now. And here's a picture of it. This was taken this morning, and so you can see I've got my laptop there, which is what I'm facing right now. And then on to my right, that's why I keep looking over this shoulder, is my bigger monitor where I've got my slides showing, and that's what I'm sharing with you all on the screen. So it just plugs in with an HDMI cable, and I can highly, highly, highly recommend exploring this as an option if you haven't already. It increases productivity. It's been proven to increase productivity by, I don't know, whatever percent, and I don't have a study to send you to, but it definitely does increase my productivity because I can spread things out. And the thing I'll just mention is that it's exactly the same as when you plug into your data projector at school to show your screen to your students. The only difference is that rather than mirroring your laptop screen onto the data projector, you're choosing another setting inside your laptop, which is to extend the display. So extending the display means you can have different things showing on each screen. And I love it. I totally recommend it. Monitors are not that expensive. This is possibly the first thing I would do if you're looking to upgrade your setup a little bit. That this might be the first thing I would do if I hadn't already got one. So I hope that helps. All right, I'm going to go to Mark. Mark left a lovely message on my share a tip Flipgrid. So thank you, Mark, if you're on at the moment. But here's his question about virtual concerts.
Hi, my name is Mark Homer. I live in Warren, Ohio, but I teach in Randolph, Ohio at an elementary school in our Catholic diocese. My question is basically, with all the COVID restrictions and everything we've had, singing has been interesting. I get outside as much as I can, but in terms of end of the year concerts and performances, I was just wondering what technical platform or program would be best for recording and disseminating that concert to parents and families. Thank you.
Do you want to take this, Amy? Because I know that you have been doing this a lot.
There's so many different platforms and there's so many different things. So I'll give you a bunch, and it really depends on what you're given to use and what your parents are used to receiving. So for last year, when I just did a simple spring concert, I just used iMovie, which is free, and I collected videos in Flipgrid. And that worked, but it took a lot of time. And I just put it on my own YouTube channel with a unlisted link and sent it to the parents. This Friday, our holiday music video is premiering, and this took a lot more work, a lot more work. So I used the 90 free day trial of Final Cut Pro. So if you're used to using iMovie, Final Cut Pro is kind of like going from GarageBand to Logic. It's going to be similar, and you're going to feel comfortable with it, but you're going to use a lot of YouTube videos to figure it out. And but it layers videos where iMovie won't do that. And if you're on something that's not a Mac, if you're working only with cloud-based, WeVideo is perfect. It does very similar. And then now we're going to upload this to our website. So the school wants this on their website running through so they can get the hits on their website. So we're doing it that way this time, but it really depends again on what your school is going to support you, what they're going to give you to use. Are they going to let you spend money or not? How to collect it. Is it going to be easiest just to ask a parent to video their child? Because when they're younger, that's just easier. Don't even try anything else. Tell the parent to video their child. But can they use Flipgrid or Seesaw? Of course. And then how are you going to disseminate it? Like, is your school going to support you? So are they going to give you a web page? If not, is it better to make it a Flipgrid talent assembly, or should you just put it an unlisted YouTube link? That really comes back to your teaching situation, your support.
Excellent answer. So, I agree, there's so many options. And I will actually just mention one extra thing, which is what we're using right now to manage a live stream, because obviously a virtual concert can be pre-recorded and just a link sent out on YouTube like Amy did, or other methods. But you can have either the whole thing live, terrifying if there's many students involved because there's too many unknown factors, would not recommend. But you might have a little combination of you yourself as the presenter are live and you're playing pre-recorded videos, much like we're doing today. I've got Flipgrid videos that have been submitted by people and we're playing them live during a session. Now, I will talk about sharing the sound for those a little bit later on, but in terms of running the session, I have a tipping point of, if I'm presenting a live session to more than, say, 50 people, like today, I don't use Zoom or Google Meet or any of those options, because it's not that I don't want the two-way interaction, but it's too difficult to manage two-way interaction. I don't want to see 700 Zoom, cameras on the screen. It's just too much. It would be overwhelming for everybody. So this is a one-to-many way of delivering a live session. So I'm using YouTube Live, but I'm actually managing the session using a platform called StreamYard. So StreamYard is sort of the in-between platform, and it's it's free. I've got the paid option now, but I did use the free option for a number of months, and it's just a fantastic way to manage live sessions through YouTube Live. You can also go straight to Facebook Live if you want to, maybe even to other platforms as well. I can't remember, but it's just a great way of managing that. So you as the teacher could do that portion live. You can set a time and say, hey, parents, we're going to be online for our virtual concert at 8 p.m. or 7 p.m. on this day. You go live, you present it, and you play the pre-recorded videos from your students in between times, or the one massive one that you've put together, whatever it is. So anyway, I hope that is a help. It's a hard one to manage, and it just depends how many people you're working with and how you want to do that delivery, whether it's live or not.
Katie, I also saw one of the studios do Instagram. So the
Oh, yeah.
announcer just spoke the entire time and brought in the kids. They were waiting in, brought them in, they played, and then she took, had them leave, and then the next one came in.
How fabulous. And that was a studio instrumental teacher type
Yes.
setup, was it? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, awesome. That's such a great thing to do. I'm just going to have a quick look at the chat window. I am going to admit I'm struggling to do all the things and keep my eyes on 7 places at once. So I'm
They
sorry if
seem
I
to
missed
be
something.
answering each other's questions, so it's
Okay,
been really good. Yeah.
thanks, everyone. Keep answering everyone's questions. Let's do that. Yeah. And anyway, we can talk more about certain aspects at the end if we've got time to. So if you've got further follow-up questions. Okay, let's get on to Brenda. Oh, Brenda's got one of everyone's favourite questions here. Great.
Hi there, my name is Brenda Koo from Richmond, British Columbia in Canada. And my tech question has to do with whether or not you've heard if any of the programs that people are creating to do music in real time, such as Jam Kazam was one, if any of them have actually got to the point where we can rehearse students over the internet in real time, over technology, and not have to deal with the huge latency issues. I've been trying to find something that we can record and play and practice from our homes, but so far I haven't been successful in my search here in Canada. And I'm just wondering if you've heard of anything from anywhere else in the world that we might be able to use. Thank you.
So this is a great question. I'm going to take over on this one just for a minute because I have looked into some of the options. So I'm going to just bring this up because I thought it's useful just to have some dot points on the screen for you. So Jamkazam, the answer is yes and no, really. And realistically, it's probably a no for school students that you're working with. And the main reason is that there are certain requirements that will you need to have in place and your students need to have in place to make Jamkazam work or other things like it. So these are software services that are kind of like online based that you can use to have multiple people logged into a session like a Zoom session, and they allow you to play in real time together as an ensemble or sing as an ensemble together. So here are all the caveats with that, because it does work if you've got maybe 4 people and you have all the right equipment and a fast internet connection. So that's some of the things. But basically, these need to work through a computer. So this will not work if some of your students have Chromebooks or some of them have iOS devices. So it's Mac and PC only. The second thing is you need to be hardwired into a router via an Ethernet cable in order to make it work. So I'm guessing that that's also going to be a challenge for some students. So if you're kind of picturing your 50-piece band or 60-piece choir or whatever it is that you're working with, these things are going to be a big challenge. The internet speed is also really important. So you have to have a good internet speed, and I've put ping/proximity there. In theory, they work with everyone around the world in different locations, and I just don't think that that's really realistic. It's going to work better with people who are in closer proximity to one another, which is probably not a big issue because most of you with ensembles, they're going to all live relatively close to one another. You're not probably running an ensemble with people in Australia and the US at the same time. The next thing is that these work much better, or it's kind of like necessary to have an audio interface. Now, an audio interface is a piece of equipment which I'm going to guess many of your students do not have. Many of you as teachers will not have one probably as well. And that's something that allows you to plug a microphone into your computer and things work better. They recommend that you use an audio interface. You also need a microphone, you need headphones, and they work for small groups only. I couldn't get a hard number because Jamkazam website kind of says, yeah, you can have up to 500 people in a session, but or 50, I don't know, some big number anyway. All the reports I've read, it's a thing for small groups only. So I have seen on their Facebook page successfully an a cappella group of 4 men. They were singing, it was fantastic. They were singing in real time together from different locations and it worked. But it's 4 people and they all had audio interfaces. They're all set up in the correct way with good internet and so on. So if you're in that situation where maybe you've got older students or you've got enough equipment to send to your students and you want to do sectional rehearsals, that could be an option. I don't think it's a realistic thing for big ensembles at most schools. It's just going to be out of the question. So another couple of things to add on to that as well. Jamkazam, it's really funny. Jamkazam is software that's been around for quite some time, and they had absolutely no updates on their website, their Facebook page, or in their forums since 2014, I think I want to say. And then suddenly they were getting a whole stack of traffic, funnily enough, back in March. I wonder why. And so I think they've been scrambling a little bit to get on top of things. And from what I can see from comments and Facebook, from forums and Facebook comments, it does not look like they've really got back on top of things yet. I'm sure that they will do because, man, they are missing a big opportunity right now. Anyway, I think it will come. The technology will come in years to come. It's just not here right now. The other thing is when you log on through those systems, from what I can see, there's not high-level child protection and privacy in place if you're working with students, particularly under 13. And there are a couple of options out there as well called other ones called Jamulus and Jacktrip, and same sort of issues that you're going to come up with Jamkazam. Anyway, if anyone has different information to report on either of any of those systems, feel free to comment. But I just don't think it's quite viable yet. So if you are, as an adult, singing with an a cappella group with just 4 people, maybe go and look at that. It could be an option. Otherwise, no, not so useful right now. All right, let's talk. Becca has a question. This is a good one.
So we use Google Meet for classes, and I want to know if there is a way when I am presenting that I can see all my students in Google Meet, because usually only, no matter how many screens I have it set to show, if I present, I can only see about 12 students at the same time. So then I lose another half of my class and I can't see them. So I was wondering if there was a workaround where I can use in Google Meet, so when I'm presenting, I can see my whole class.
Do you want to take this one, Amy?
Yeah, this is a pain. I totally agree with Becca. The way I've done it is I log in from another device. I really think that's the best way to do it, is to log in from another device for 2 reasons. One, on the second device, you can see everyone. Even though it is still going to split the screen, it's still going to say you're presenting and it splits the screen. You'll at least be able to see more than you would. The second reason is every time you share the screen, you freeze. So the student starts seeing your screen and that little square of you frozen. Not a great thing. Not something I love at all. So I always try to stop and hit share the screen. I'm like smiling or something, and then I mean it's a serious issue here. And then like I'm logged on somewhere else so that I can they can see me in another square, actually knowing that I didn't actually freeze. I mean, this is a big concern. The kids see you freeze when you share the screen, then they think you've logged off, and then there's issues that I log on another device. There probably might be others who have little tricks, with the second monitor as well. But I know Becca's problem, and I get it. That is a big problem with Google Meets.
Yeah. I did not know that about the freezing. That's hilarious. My thing is in photos I always have my eyes closed, so I would have to do a big wide eye thing. But I will say, and probably there's comments about this in the chat, that there was a Chrome extension which allowed you to see students in a grid view, and then Google kind of added a thing in. But the reports that I've seen from people is that the extension is still a better option. I don't know if anyone wants to confirm or deny that.
Jenny does right that the extension's there. My issue, and this might be an issue with other schools, you're not allowed to add those extensions. So if Becca's having that issue, that would be my guess why, because we just aren't allowed. I mean, some schools allow it, but we aren't.
Yeah, it's really hard. There's no great way to juggle things. And it's funny, as a presenter who works with adults, I just don't worry. I don't need to see everybody, and I'm quite happy not seeing everybody because it's distracting as a presenter or a teacher. But like for you guys working with students, I would totally be wanting to see all of the students because you want to know that they're engaged or not, or eating breakfast or whatever they're doing. So yeah, it's a really hard one. No great solution, unfortunately. I'm sorry. All right, let's move to Abby.
Hello, I'm Abby Kroll from Champaign, Illinois, and my tech question is, what is the best way to go about planning and facilitating a large Zoom event for lots of families from my school one evening? I'd like to do, sing-alongs and dance-alongs and some experiences, and how best would you use your tech resources to make this an enjoyable, fun, and engaging experience for a large group on Zoom? Thanks.
Do you want to go first on that, Amy? I've got a couple of ideas.
No, you go first. You go first on this one. I have a 9-year-old daughter who's trying to enter the chat to join us in here. So go ahead.
Is she joining us?
You go ahead. I'm trying to. Yeah, she wants to join it. You go ahead, Katie.
So, making big events engaging, it can be hard. So I think that using games and that type of thing is a great approach, and online tools like maybe Kahoot or quiz kind of games, if you want to go down that road of playing games like that. Something that's worked really well that a lot of teachers have reported, and you could totally do this with adults as well as kids, with the whole family, is a thing where you're doing like a musical freeze game, and you're playing some kind of music and you freeze, and then all the families have to freeze in their little Zoom windows as well. I've heard reports that the teachers have loved seeing little kids do that particularly, but that could be a good family one as well. But using things like Google Forms, where you don't need to show it on the screen, you can send people off to fill out a form to enter a giveaway like today, or do something else like that that's a little bit engaging. Maybe they're answering a quiz question or something like that. Playing music is always a good thing. I'm going to talk a little bit about best ways to share music that you want to play during a session later on as well. Anyway, do you want to add anything, Amy?
Yeah, I love the Kahoot idea. If they have iPads, they get a little frustrated trying to use Kahoot because they can't have the 2 tabs open, which is required, and then you're trying to read the question. So
Yeah.
sometimes they do just an overall musical escape room where they're yelling at me like the answers, and then I run it. Sometimes I'll connect my iPad and do Staff Wars with them because it's great. They'll just shout out the letters as it comes across the screen, and I click the majority one. Bingo Baker is wonderful because you can make a bingo card and then they go to, it's like almost kind of the way Kahoot does it. They say go to this website and here's your code, and then it marks off, right? It's like a digital bingo card, so it marks off everything.
I
Um,
love Bingo Baker. I've done a
right?
whole podcast episode about it somewhere back, so you can go and find that and have a listen. Someone else just mentioned bingo in the chat window
Yep.
too, Sam, I think it was.
Move it, get them up brain breaks, get them up and do movement. It's so important. So whether you're going to run it or have your side monitor showing you what you're doing and they're watching you pin yourself, that's great. Scavenger hunts, tell them to go find like something that rattles and comes back. Like have the kids running all over the house is a really great game. If you have 50 minutes of like older elementary, what I try to do is like teach for about 25, then stay on for the rest of the 25, but let them have a break off the screen, do the work at their house, and then let them just come on and ask me questions of the assignment. And then like we might come back for the last 5 minutes. So you're not letting them go early, but you don't have to try and fill 50 minutes of constant teaching. Gives them the guidance that they can go and lead and then come back.
Yep, fantastic ideas. Yeah, hopefully that's a few starting points at least. I find just generally planning things a little bit more closely than you think you're going to need as well also works really well with large groups. So today's session, although it's not like totally smooth or anything, today's session in my head originally when I thought of doing this a couple of months ago, I was like, let's just make it really relaxed. It'll just be me and Amy chatting on the screen. I thought, you know what, that's just not going to work so well. It's going to be better if I have the videos in my Keynote file and put titles on them and set things up and organize everything. So it's much more time, but I know that the session will go a bit more smoothly with all of that. So I hope that that's a bit of a help. We're going to have another little section of questions about audio related things, and then we're going to head into our first set of giveaways. And I'm just going to do a little check that everyone's managed to find the yes. Okay, good. There's names there. That's good. I just wanted to make sure everyone had found the Google form to fill out. So happy days. All right, this is a message from a question from Elizabeth.
Hi, Katie. I have been following you since about 2008. So thank you so much for doing this. I have a question about headphones. When using applications like Soundtrap and you have students recording, are there any headphones that work the best in terms of delay and connection? And I have another question I'm going to submit separately. But yeah, I would love to know your take on headphones and if schools were able to recommend a specific one for students to get or supply them, which ones would you recommend? Thanks so much.
So for me personally, the thing that I would avoid is when you're recording is Bluetooth headphones. Even though I have my AirPods and that sort of thing, that tends to cause delay or latency when you're recording. So not a great option for recording. awesome when you're running or listening while you're walking or talking on the phone and stuff. So anything that's wired is a really good option. I use a lot of the time my my little white, the ones that came with my iPhone. Like I use those a lot still. I have them for my iPad and my iPhone. But then I also have these ones that I'm wearing now, so over the ear type headphones. And I don't know if it's possible to recommend for students to buy because there's such a wide variety of prices with lots of different headphones. But these are Sony. I don't remember how much they are. Someone can probably Google, but they're just over the ear ones. They're not noise cancelling or anything like that. They're just, they're sort of non-fancy ones. I also do find, and to be honest, I don't know if this is just me or not. I tend to avoid, these ones have the microphone attached to the dangling down bit. So I've got the headphones and the little microphone is attached there. Now, if I'm just recording my voice, I maybe use that sometimes just to do a quick recording, like a rough one, and it picks up my voice through that microphone. But if I want to make sure that I'm not using that microphone and I'm using something else like this one, I tend to not use these because I'm worried that I don't know which one the software is going to choose to use. I know I can control it, obviously, I can select it in the audio settings, but for some reason I feel better about using these ones, which don't have a microphone attached to them. There are some brands of headphones that are recommended if you're going to buy them as a school purchase, like for a lab or something. I have a feeling that that's not a thing so much at the moment because probably you don't want kids sharing stuff at all. But anyway, Amy, do you want to add anything to that?
No, I think I always go to you for these audio and microphone and headsets. I agree though, hardwired, if you can still do it, because the Bluetooth, I've tried to record with Bluetooth and it's very interesting.
Yeah, very interesting. Yeah. And for the students themselves, and I give this advice to teachers too, I think it's a case of use whatever you have. So I would just tell them to do that. Some of them may have the gaming headphones, with the little microphone thing that sticks out. Look, they may be okay to use. It just depends. It also depends what you're recording. If you're recording a singing voice, your voice is often too close to that microphone or that dangling down one from these headphones. I pull it away when I'm doing high notes so it doesn't distort. So anyway, that's my thoughts on that. So hopefully that's a help. There's a question from Claire.
Hi, Katie and Amy. Thank you for all you do for us. This is really great resources for us music teachers. My name is Claire Rodambourg. I'm calling from Birmingham, Alabama. I would like to see if there's anything you could do to make Audacity compatible with Mac operating systems, Catalina and Up, whatever's going to come. Because right now it's not possible to load Audacity, and it was before Catalina. So if you could call someone at Apple, or if you could give us a trick to load it to make it work, that would be wonderful. Happy holidays to everybody. Thank you.
I love Claire's accent. People often say that about my accent, and I'm like, I don't have an accent. What accent? Anyway, nice to see you, Claire. So I was actually a little bit surprised when I got the question because I then went and checked my Mac to see. I'm like, what version am I on? I'm on Catalina, and I have Audacity working just fine. So the reason I left your question in is just to say that if you are someone who uses Audacity, the thing that I've found over the years is that it doesn't auto update unless I've missed some button somewhere that I could turn on. It does not auto update. And you sort of physically have to go to the Audacity website and download the latest version. So I wonder if that's the case, Claire, because I've had the issue where the version that I've had on my Mac is one version, and then I've updated my Mac, and then I cannot open Audacity anymore. It just doesn't work. And then I go to the Audacity website and then I download a new version of that, and then it's fine, and I ditch the other one. So maybe just check that, because I've been using it. I used it yesterday, for instance, and I'm on Catalina. So just every time you update your Mac, and if it stops working, I would suggest going to the website just to check it. But Audacity is one of the only ones that doesn't kind of alert you that there's a new version available. Lots of other software just kind of magically does it or tells you. So yeah. Presuming that I can move on to the next one after that. Here's a question from Kathy. We've got 3 more and then we'll do a little giveaway.
Hi, Kathy Ramsey here. My burning question is how to put music into Google Slides. when you have WMAs on your computer and you need to get them to MP3s? I would love to know the answer to that. Thank you.
You want to take this one, Amy? You love audio in Google Slides. I know this.
Oh, I love audio in Google Slides. Converting to MP3, Katie, would you say Zamzar? That's usually my go-to, but I'm thinking of
Yeah.
her original file, I think would convert to MP3 there. Her original file format she's talking about, I don't think I've worked with to convert to MP3, but Zamzar is always my go-to because I can usually convert something to something in Zamzar for free.
Yeah. And I often use iTunes, but I'm on a Mac, so that's Mac only option. So I will open whatever it is in iTunes, and then there's you can right click on the file and convert to something else. So that's one other option. I also, what else the other thing? I feel like one of those 123 audio tools. What's that website? I'm pretty sure you can
123
convert there.
apps.
Yeah, 123 apps. Such a
That's
great
an amazing,
tool.
yeah.
That has a lot of tools for all sorts of things, converting files from one to another, just doing a quick trim of an audio file. Like it's got lots of little apps all in the one website, and it's the numbers 123 apps if you just Google that. So yeah, so I do that. I frequently need to convert things from one to another. I sometimes use Audacity. I will open up the file in Audacity and then just hit export and choose another file type. So hopefully one of those will work for you.
Hi, Katie. I'm Emma from Osborne Primary School in Mount Martha. Thank you for your amazing advent calendar. My question is, how do I add songs to GarageBand or iMovie if I don't have an iTunes account? Thank you. Merry Christmas.
So this question, oh my gosh, how hard is it in in GarageBand or GarageBand? Emma says it the same as me, GarageBand, to access files and move files around, and it's just so hard. And I'm particularly thinking about an iPad here. I'm presuming that Emma's talking about iPad versions of these, although it could be not. You don't need an iTunes account to add things to GarageBand or iMovie, and I think the confusion is that when you open those up and you go to the media, like the place where you would add media, that is the most obvious thing. And it looks like that is the only way, but it's actually not. So if it's the desktop version, I often open something in my Finder and drag it from the Finder into GarageBand or iMovie, whether it's a movie or an audio file. The other thing is, what else is the other thing? If it's iPad, there's a central kind of place you can store files from any location on your iPad, or even like if you use Dropbox to access files on your laptop, you can kind of store things in there and use that as a portal. And one of our members in the Midnight Music community, we just had a discussion about this the other day, Hazel, I think it was, and I made a little video showing how to kind of organize your files on the iPad so that you can access them in all these different apps. So when you open up the GarageBand app, then there is a place where you can go to the files collection and then access lots of different things in there. So it might be from your Dropbox folder or from your Google Drive folder or from, I don't know, can't remember the other places. There's a few other places as well. So I hope that helps. It is misleading, I think, that you don't really need an iTunes account to do that. Anything else to add, Amy?
No, that's good. I'm checking your
Yeah.
chat.
Okay, good.
On
Oh,
this
good.
one.
I
Yeah.
did. All right, let's do this question here, and then we'll go to our first lot of giveaways.
Hello, my name is Yorgos, and I'm from Greece. I would like to ask what directions would you give to high school students if they had to make a recording of them playing their instrument at home for some task? Usually students have a common smartphone, or they use the internal microphone of their computer or a laptop. So what instructions would you give to them? For example, where to put the microphone, they would play in front of it, how close to it, or how loud. Suppose that they don't have any equipment. Thank you.
And this is a great question because I think so many people are working with just whatever they've got. And I think a checklist for students would be a brilliant thing. And when I heard this video, I thought, yeah, maybe I might make a checklist and put it on the website for people. But there are a few tips. And it actually kind of depends what instrument it is. It comes down to that, the instrument or whether you're singing. Obviously, as a singer, you can be a lot closer to a microphone and we'll just talk internal microphone, like the provided mic with your laptop or with your phone. You can be closer as a singer than if you're a trumpet player. You really don't want to be too close if you're a trumpet player because it's just going to distort too much. So my advice for anybody recording anything would be to do a little test before you do the real thing. Do the test, play it back, make it short and play it back. And in your test, it's a really good to play a range of notes. So play some low, some mid-range and some high ones, because even as a singer, singing high notes as a soprano, for me, they distort more readily than my mid-range, for instance. So I would definitely do a test and then play it back for yourself. Don't just do the test and think it's okay without playing it back. Play it back and have a good listen. And this is really something to tell the students and to get them used to doing. And then they hit record and do the real thing. That's the main thing that I would suggest. But if they can get an external microphone, and it's not going to be possible for everybody, but if they can, something that will really help, because you've got a little bit more control over the sound and what it's like. The problem with the inbuilt device microphones is often that they're too sensitive. They will pick up too much stuff. And the other thing is to go to a quiet environment. The environment is probably like 80% of the deal when it comes to recording at home. And if you can be in I was going to say a padded room. That does not sound right. You know what I mean? Some room which doesn't have a lot of reflective surfaces, you're going to get a better recording. So that would be another thing. You could just give them a little checklist of go to somewhere which has soft furnishings in it. I have been in my closet recording many times and you get a great result. I know a lot of podcasters that when they're traveling and they're in a hotel room, they will put up a little barrier of pillows around their device, their laptop, and record in amongst the pillows because they're going to get less sound coming into the microphone. It's not so great playing a trumpet in that situation. Yeah. Is there something you tell your students, Amy, or do you just sort of hope that they get it?
I make a tutorial and I try to make it as short and sweet and straight to the point. So I'll use Loom and make a video tutorial of it where they can see me and what's going on the screen. And then just from our good friend Barb Friedman, like no more than 1 minute and 30 seconds.
Yeah. Fantastic idea. Yeah. I think it's just a case of testing really and then checking things out. All right. I hope that was a help too. Let's have a little giveaway. Yeah. Oh my gosh, this is exciting. Now, the people that submitted videos, questions via video in Flipgrid, there was about 42 or so. I have loaded your names into a wheel and I'm going to draw a winner because the submissions that I received by 4 p.m. my time yesterday all go into the draw to win a microphone. Now, there's 2 draws that are going to happen. One is for the questions and then there was a separate Flipgrid for sharing a tip. So I'm going to draw both of those right now. Let's see if this works okay. All right, where's my wheel?
It will work.
This is the questions one. So this, and I decided to use this today so that you could see that there's a cool website where you can set up a wheel with names in it and draw a winner. And you can use this in lots of other ways. You can put pictures in all the slots on the wheel and they could be things like rhythm, like notation and all sorts of things. So anyway, I won't go into that right now, but here are all the names in the list here, and I'm going to just hit the button and you're going to hear some fun music, I hope. Yes, Laura, I thought you were going to lose it from me. It nearly kicked over to Amy's. All right, Laura's the first winner. Katrina's going to make a note of this. I hope that Laura's the first winner of the microphone for the Flipgrid questions. So well done, Laura. I don't know if you're watching or not. I'm going to open up my second wheel that I've got set up here, which is the share a tip ones. We've got different music for this one, fewer names on this one. So let's go for this one. I have to say, Katie Miller, writes a whole heap of blog posts for my website. So I'm excited that she's won. She definitely deserves this. She was even the first one to submit a tip on the Flipgrid topic. So that's a great thing. Awesome. Congratulations to Katie Miller. And let me just go back to my keynote thing, because I'm going to draw a couple of other things here as well. So I've got a few giveaways today. I have picked things that I think are kind of useful that I already have and that I use. And a lot of them are to do with recording or making videos and that sort of thing. So this is the first example of that. This is a lapel mic. It's not overly expensive. And I have one of these. It has a really long lead, long cable. And you can use it with your smartphone, with your laptop, with your actual DSLR camera. If you have one of those, you can plug it in. And this allows you to pick up better sound because it pins to your clothing and you've got your voice there. So this works really well, probably not with all instruments if you're playing, but definitely with voice. And if you're recording videos at all or online and you want to use not a laptop, a microphone. All right, let's go back over here. So for this one, I'm going to check how many names, not how many names. Oh, why does Google sign me out at crucial times? Let's come back. All right. It's like a teaching moment when things go wrong in sessions like this. All right, so here are all the names that are in the Google, that have been entered via the Google form. I'm going to see what number we're up to at the bottom here. And I've scrolled too far. There we go. Oh, my internet's suddenly just deciding to crack it a little bit. Okay, so I've got 225 is the last name there, and the first number is 2. And I'm going to go over here, and this one, different option here. What did I say? 222? I've forgotten already. 225. Sorry, nearly lost out the last couple of people there. 225. All right, so I'm picking a number between 2 and 225, and we're going to see the cakes disappear and reveal the number. Suspense. 146. Okay, I'm going to go back to the spreadsheet. Who's in slot number 146? It's Carol Hamrick. I'm going to just highlight that name so that we don't lose it later on. Here we go. So congratulations, Carol, if you're watching. You've got a lapel microphone, which we'll email you and sort out how to send that to you. And last giveaway in this section is a book by Amy Burns. Yay. And I think Amy's got a bonus book to throw in as well, because she's got
I do.
Move on.
So Oxford University Press not only sent me 10 books of mine, but then decided to send me 10 books of this awesome Broadway in the Box by Kelly Kessler. So you get a bonus book. It's actually pretty good. My 9-year-old took it and started reading it. So I guess it's pretty good.
I love it. All right, we're going to do another draw. So let's do this. Do you want to do one or more than one?
Oh, I could do 2. Yeah, go for it.
But we can just do 2.
Do you want more? Or what do you want?
No, let's just do one, because I've got your book featuring a little bit later on as well. I'm going to let me just see if anyone's done a last minute entry into this form so I don't miss out. 225 still there. Good. 146, if that comes up again, I will do a redraw just so that it's a little bit fair. So we'll just go again. We're going to go generate. This is a free online random number generator. 177, and the winner is 177. It's Christine Ott. So congratulations, Christine. Yay. Again, I'm going to for that one. And again, we will work out how we're going to send that book to you. So fantastic. All right. There's going to be more giveaways coming up later on. We're going to go back to some questions again. And this is my favorite, remote teaching sound questions, everybody's favorite topic. I'm going to play the next 4 questions without stopping and then talk about all of them at once, because this is a thing where, oh man, it's difficult. I get it. It's really difficult. So let me play the questions for you. And then hopefully what I tell you after that will kind of answer those and maybe a bit more too.
Hi, Katie. My name is Amy, and I'm an elementary band and orchestra teacher from Pennsylvania in the United States. And we are teaching all online right now. And my question has to do with microphones and speakers. I would love to be able to use a speaker that would be better than my laptop's internal speaker. But of course, I need to use the headphone jack in order to hook something in, which then takes the microphone quality. So I've tried to use the external speaker along with a USB microphone, but then through Zoom, partway through the morning, all of a sudden the kids will say they can't hear me anymore because all of a sudden my USB mic isn't picking anything up. And so then I need to unplug the mic and unplug the speakers and go back to the yucky internal sound from the laptop. So I'm kind of wondering, what am I doing wrong, or is there a workaround, or what's happening when the external mic and speakers work at first, but then all of a sudden they just seem to stop, and then everybody's left going, I can't hear you, and makes me feel silly. So thanks for any help you can give, and I appreciate all that you do to help us music teachers as we're navigating this online world right now. Thanks. Bye.
Thank you, Amy. Here's Lindsay, another sound question.
Hi, my name is Lindsay and I teach in South Korea. I sometimes have a hard time with being heard with my ukulele and my voice on a live Google Meet or Zoom meeting. Sometimes when I'm playing, then I start singing and the playing will get cut out. Just wondering if you have any tips for this. Thank you.
Question 3, sound related. This is from Anne.
Hi, my name's Anne. I'm Anne Voller from Grass Valley, California. And that's for partway between Sacramento and Lake Tahoe. So it's up in the Gold Country in the mountains. And yes, it is very pretty here. So my question is, it's about adding extra mics, an external mic, or plugging in a headset that has a microphone on it. How do I know that they're doing their job? I think when I have headphones on, the sound is better from my students, but I'm not sure what they're getting from me. If I'm using an external microphone, how do I know that they're getting a quality sound? Do I only know by asking them, or are there other things that I can do to be sure that I'm using those tools to their best advantage? I've got an external mic. I've got a couple different headsets, great big ones over the head, a smaller set that makes me look like a air traffic controller. And when I ask my students, and mostly one-on-one, like using Zoom or FaceTime or Google Meets. So I just don't know. I want to be sure they're getting quality, and I want to be able to hear them the best I can. And, there are those issues of sound crossing each other out. And I wish I understood more about how that worked. So that's really my question. I mostly work one-on-one. In January, I'll be resuming my children's choir, probably online. It looks like we took a hiatus because they're screened out. But I want to resume with them and at least be with small groups, even if it's on Zoom. So I want them to be hearing something good, and then me hearing the best that I can from them, even with a time lag. So that's my question. And I'm hoping you might at least have some helpful hints for me. All right, thanks. And have great holidays coming up. It's almost 2021.
All right. And this one from Sarah Jane.
Hi, my name's Sarah Sipperly, and I teach in a middle school in upstate New York, in Schenectady, New York. And my question is this. I'm trying to play music while on a Google Meet with students, and they say they can't hear it when I'm playing it from my laptop. And then my Bluetooth, if it's hooked to my laptop, then that doesn't have a mic on it. So how can I circumvent that so my kids can hear what I'm trying to play for them? Any suggestions? Thank you.
All right. So I thought it was worth spending a little bit of time just talking about this. And this is something that I have literally struggled with for more than 10 years now in running live sessions. And at least things have progressed since I started out. There were not many options way back when. And it kind of makes me feel good that you all understand the issues with this now, because in the past, nobody was kind of trying to do it as well. And now that everybody's trying to do this, it's something that everybody is struggling with. So I just wanted to talk through the sound sources that you are trying to share with your students when you're online, whether it's Google Meet or Zoom or any other option online, even live YouTube like this. So you're either trying to share sound from your voice, so it's your speaking voice or maybe even your singing voice. Then you've got acoustic instruments perhaps as well, like a guitar. Maybe you've got a piano in the room that you're trying to use when you're teaching. And then separately to that, you've got things like music software, websites, videos, Spotify, presentation slides, which have sound related things inside them, like audio files or video files. And I have divided them roughly into these two areas. So you've got your microphone related sounds, things coming into your microphone, and then you've got things that are on your computer. You've got the sound that's on your computer that you need to get out to the students or whoever is watching your session. Now, the way that these work, it's really good to understand both of these. And this comes also into when you're doing screencasting. So if you've ever recorded your screen and you've tried to play, let's say, a YouTube video in your recording, and the sound has come out really tinny and it's terrible and it's broken up, that is because you're trying to record the sound from inside your computer and you're probably trying to do that back through your microphone, and it's not a great option. So I want to just talk through what are the ways that you can share good quality sound with your students so that you're not going insane and they're not going insane as well. And I will just say, one of the people, I can't remember who it was, I think it was Amy, the very first one, had a question about why does it cut out halfway through or change halfway through. To be honest, I don't know the answer to that one. That one is something to explore and check out. I think this is sort of a separate thing, but maybe doing the things that I'm going to suggest are going to fix that anyway. So I just took a couple of photos this morning. I just want to talk about microphone sound first of all. So you've got sound coming from your personal voice in through the microphone, and that microphone could be just your inbuilt laptop microphone, or if you're on your smartphone running a session, it could be through that or through an iPad. So the sound is going into the microphone and then out to the people in your session. Now, there's a few options. You can use the inbuilt microphone. Of course, you're going to get a better quality sound if you plug something in to your system. So I took a couple of photos here of my son Josh's desk because I was already set up for this session. I didn't want to muck around with all my settings and stuff. But on the left-hand side here, you can see I've got this. This is an inexpensive microphone. This is actually the one that I just awarded for the Flipgrid giveaway. This one is plugged directly here into Josh's laptop through a USB port. So you just plug it in, and then when you're speaking into this during your session, you actually need to go into the settings of Zoom, of Google Meet, or of Microsoft Teams, or whatever you're using, and say, I want to use this microphone and not my inbuilt laptop microphone. There's actually a place where you will choose that. And if you forget, like I do, frequently when I'm recording podcast interviews with people, you will just be using the inbuilt laptop microphone. Even if you have this plugged in, it doesn't default necessarily to the plugged in microphone. You need to make sure that you choose that in your settings. I've taken this photo on the right just as an alternative to show you that this microphone is actually plugged into this Focusrite audio interface. So this is an option for if the microphone is not a USB microphone and it has a regular XLR cable, you can't plug that directly into your laptop. You need to plug it into this box, and then this plugs into your laptop with a USB cable. So I hope that makes sense. I can also use this red box here to plug a guitar directly into my computer. So it could be an electric guitar or an acoustic guitar with a pickup. So that is the way that you can plug those things in. And once again, now in Google Meet or Zoom or Microsoft Teams, instead of saying I want to choose my microphone as the input for the sound, I actually select this, the Focusrite, or whatever brand it is of audio interface that you're using. Select the Focusrite audio interface, and that's what Zoom or whatever platform will use as your sound source for the microphone. So that's just part one. We're going to talk about the computer sound because this is a much worse thing, a much harder thing to get around and to make work really well. So for the computer sound, you don't want to have the sound from YouTube, from Spotify, which is on your laptop, or any other. Let's say you've opened up Chrome Music Lab and you're playing something on Chrome Music Lab and you want to share that with your students, or you've opened up GarageBand or Soundtrap or Flat.io or Noteflight. Any of those things that are on your laptop and you want the sound to go out to the people you're working with, that you're presenting to, you don't want it to come out of your laptop speakers and then go back in through your laptop microphone in order for your students to hear it. If you have a microphone like this plugged in, it's very likely they won't hear anything at all because the sound won't get picked up from my laptop speakers through this microphone. The microphone's way too far away. So that is not the way that you want to share sound from your computer. You want to share it internally. I've put internally, that is not the technical term, really, but you're sharing it internally from inside your computer through Zoom or Google Meet. Now, the way that you do this is you have to choose a setting in the system that you're using to present to your students. So on Zoom, you're going to go into the sharing screen settings and check the little box which says share computer audio. I didn't check the exact wording on that. It's something like that anyway, share computer audio. On Google Meet, you're choosing to present a Chrome tab, and I'm going to come back to that in a minute because that's also slightly problematic too. You're choosing present a Chrome tab and you're making sure, I think there's a checkbox as well that you say, yes, I want to share the sound from that tab internally through the computer. And then in Microsoft Teams, there's a little box you can check which says include computer sound. So all of those things are when you hit the screen share button, that's what you're looking for in any of those things. Now, the issue with Google Meet is that the only way to share decent audio internally that's on your computer is if it's in a Chrome tab. So if you open up the GarageBand app, which lives on my laptop, it does not live in a browser tab. I can't share the sound from that, as far as I know, through Google Meet, just using the Google Meet setting. I've got another solution for you, don't worry, but just using that setting, it's only things that live in the tab. So that means you have to have everything sound related in a Chrome tab. So it needs to be a Google Slides presentation, which lives in a Chrome tab, or Chrome Music Lab is fine because it lives in a Chrome tab, or YouTube is okay because that also lives in a browser tab. So Google Meet has limitations. Zoom has more options because you can share the sound from your browser, but also from your actual laptop too. So that's kind of like part one. Now, if you want to level up and make things a lot easier for yourself, but it may cost you money. I'm just going to say that up front. I found that this was well worth the investment. I do want to just tell you about another way that you can do this, and this is not for everybody. I'm going to say this right now. This is not for everybody because there's an extra level of maybe technical setup that you'll have to go through, but believe me, it's changed my life and it's made things a lot easier. And that is to use audio routing software. It sounds very complex. If you're on a Mac and you go down the route of using Loopback, which is the one that I use, the process was extremely simple to set up, extremely simple. I did not read any instructions. I looked at someone else's screenshot of what they had and I clicked my buttons and I was done. And I'll show you what this looks like in a moment. So what this software does is it allows you to kind of control all of the sound related things on your laptop, all of them, your microphone, the sound coming from music software that you have living on your laptop, plus the sound out of browser tabs, plus the sound that I've got in Keynote. Right now, the Keynote videos that I'm playing are playing through this system. Anything else you can think of is all going through this software called Loopback. And what it does is you can set all of the input sources, so all of those separate things, and then it goes into Loopback. And then at the other end, I select Loopback as my input source in Zoom or like now in YouTube Live or whatever it is I'm using. And I set it as the output source as well, because everything is going in and out of Loopback, if that makes sense. Now, Loopback is Mac only. I went with that one. It's paid software. I can't remember how much, 100-ish dollars, US, that is. I went with that because on the recommendation of friends that were already using it, and I just went, you know what? If they're liking it, I trust their opinion. I'm going to go with it. There is another option called Black Hole. I have no experience with that, so maybe watch some YouTube videos first if you want to see how that works. I'm going to show you a screenshot of my loop back screen. Don't freak out. Just hold on. It looks a lot worse than it actually is. So this is what it looks like. So this is currently running on my laptop right now. This is actually a screenshot from earlier today. All the things on the left. So you basically click a button to add an input source. So I have Google Chrome because that is the browser that I use as one input source. Keynote, my Keynote file, my Keynote program is another input source. My Scarlett 2i2 Focusrite Scarlett audio interface, because that's what the microphone is plugged into. That is another one. If I opened up the Spotify app on my laptop and turned it on, I could control the sound through this as well. I used the Staff Wars app installed on my laptop, and I turned that on the other day, and this one is just a loopback pass-through thing. Don't worry about it. Anyway, once you click and add these cables, like virtual cables, appear on the screen. It looks really pretty and complex. I didn't do any of that. It just happened automatically. And then you say, where do you want this to go out to? And I've got it going out to my Scarlett, and basically that's the device that I choose inside Zoom or inside Google Meet or inside whatever program I'm using to deliver the session. I hope that makes sense. I won't spend a lot of time on that. I just wanted to mention that because I think that a lot of people don't even know that this exists as a thing, as an option. And this, as I said, it's not for everybody. If you don't have time, if you're freaking out about all the things right now, wait till you've got some spare time to look at a few YouTube videos and see how people have set things up. I found it really simple, and it's just made life a lot easier. And I will just say, all of the input sources here have their own volume controls. So if I find that YouTube videos on the whole are too loud compared to the sound coming out of Spotify or Staff Wars, I can have one down and one up, louder and whatever it is, and it just gives me the control over everything, and I can highly recommend it. All right. What do you think about that? I've just scrolled away from my thing. I really hope that that's a help for some of you who want to explore things a little bit further and level up maybe.
Your chat is going crazy. I was just trying to keep up with it.
I'm actually going to look at it because I really want to know what people think. Black Hole is Mac and PC. Yes, I just saw that question. This is what I need. Someone says good. Oh, someone else uses Black Hole. Yes, okay. So Black Hole, and when you're searching for either Loopback or Black Hole, just type the word audio or music after it, because there's another thing called Loopback, which is not the thing you're looking for. It's like I don't know, some gaming software or something like that. Really, really just look at both of these. Black Hole, when you go to their website, you need to enter your email address before you even see anything. As far as I can see, you go there, you need to sign up, and then you can download it, I believe. Just go and check it out. I really do think it's worth searching on YouTube for for videos where people walk through this or give you a review or something. I just think it's really, really worth it. Anyway. The thing with when you're not using that audio routing software is that you just have less control over things. It's not the end of the world. I didn't find that I had, if I don't have loopback, I can still survive. I just have less control, and maybe I can't do everything that I want and share all the sound that I want. All right, I'm going to move on. You can keep chatting about it. I'll talk about it more later if people want to ask further questions. I love it, love it. Okay, this is a few we've got 4 or 5 video questions, and then we're going to head to another giveaway.
Hi, my name is Craig, and I'm from New Hampshire. And my question has to do with annotating or writing on a video. I teach a course in woodwind methods, and I record my students playing, and I'd like to be able to comment on there and with my iPad maybe circle something. That way I can talk and point it out at the same time. This could also work with private lessons at an elementary school. But anyway, that's my question. Is there a good way to do that, to annotate a video?
Do you want to go with this one, Amy? I don't know. I'm putting you on the spot, but
I'm gonna give that one to you, Katie. I
Okay,
mean, I know how to
that's
annotate on like a video that I make. I like
half.
obviously Loom has annotation and yeah, Loom has it. So like if I make my own video, I can do that. And then like Google Slides has a great pointer where I can use the red pointer to point out things. But I don't know if that's what he's asking. So I'll have you take that one.
Yeah, okay. My thoughts were there's two approaches. One is to do it live while you're watching the video of the student, and the other one is to add things later on, either on your own video or the student's video, sort of after the fact, if you're not, well, they're both kind of after the fact because the student has sent you a video. So one thing you can do is open up a student video on your laptop, and then you open up Loom or Screencastify and draw on the video while it's playing. And the other way is to kind of very manually add things in afterwards in video editing software. And either way is possible. For Craig's example, I'm going to suggest you'd be doing it while you're watching the video, because you're not going to sit there and fiddle around with very detailed annotations and that sort of thing. But the more detailed manual way is what I would do when I'm making a screencast tutorial that's going to go on YouTube. I have things like circles that appear on the screen and arrows that point, and I put them in with a little fade out and a fade in and all that. So it takes a long time, but it looks really good. But for student assessment or feedback, I'd be doing it as it's going. So Screencastify has that with I believe with the Chrome extension. With Loom, you need to use the version of Loom that you download to your desktop, not the Chrome extension, because I don't think the Chrome extension for Loom has the annotation options in it, but it is in the downloadable version. So yeah, hopefully that's a help. Katrina, if you're watching, I don't know if you can do this. I'm just going to say that the YouTube the YouTube comments are not great, and there's a lot of spam going on, and we need to turn them off. So if you're watching on YouTube, I'm going to suggest coming over to the other chat window, and maybe Katrina could post that into the little window there. I'm going to just turn them off. I've been blocking some people on there, but I can't keep up with it. There's no way to control who sees your YouTube live stream, unfortunately. So welcome to those who are watching this live stream and who are not teachers and thinking, what on earth is this that they've fallen into? All right, let's play another one from Liz.
You don't have to stay. You can leave. You don't have to do that.
And I'm here in Dublin, Ohio.
Yay.
Also a runner, by the way. I like to see your running pictures too. Here in my classroom, all by myself, since the students have asynchronous music lessons. My question is on some of the YouTube videos that I see with like rhythm play-alongs. How do you create a generic loop of music to put underneath that? Also, Amy Burns was talking about music for like the Nutcracker and just putting it in a note flight. When she says putting it in a note flight, does she mean like entering in each note of the score or scanning it in, or how does that work? So I'd love some information on creating a soundtrack to go underneath so it's not copyrighted. Thanks so much for all of your tips. Have a great day. Bye.
I had this vision of Amy clicking her fingers and it appears magically in no flight. I'll let you answer that bit first.
I didn't know that that's what I do. I like this and boom. I wish. First of all, I love Liz's question because I think it's so important. And that the first thing is I take it from the podcast did it come out today with the Elementary Groove?
Yeah, Cameron. Oh,
Yeah, so
great.
Cameron, I think he just creates it. And so one of my stuff I did it that way. I went into Soundtrap and created just like Cameron did with turkey. I still can't get out in my head, turkey pie and then stuff like that. But I just for that was like we were doing we are thankful for our pets. We are thankful for our school. And I just went into Soundtrap and just created a background track. So like GarageBand, Soundtrap, BandLab, whatever you're using, your digital audio workstation, create one. Now, when I was doing Nutcracker, I was trying to be careful not to take a recording from an orchestra.
Yes.
So what I did took a while, but I found like free versions of piano versions of it, and then I played it into Noteflight.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah, good. Yeah, that's what I would have suggested too. So in Soundtrack, BandLab, GarageBand, whatever digital audio workstation, you could just use something from the loop library if you don't want to spend time musically putting together an arrangement or a composition, because also that takes time. Cameron actually said who's from Elementary Groove Tracks, he said that the longest part of making his videos is putting the soundtrack together, not the video itself. So he spends like 10 hours on the soundtrack alone because he's fully arranging it or writing it. But you don't have to do that. So you can just find something that's existing already in your software, pop that in, make it play for as many bars as you need and export it, and that's your soundtrack. Or find things that are ready-made online. There are some great things. YouTube has a collection for YouTube creators of royalty-free, copyright-free music that you can just go and look through and hit download and just download it to your laptop. BandLab has the contents of their loop library is available without you having to use BandLab. Now, I only found this out recently because my lovely friend who is at BandLab told me about it. And so if you go to bandlab.com/sounds, I think that's the link, you'll find that there's a whole collection of loops there. You do need to sign up for a free BandLab account to download them, but you do that and then you can access them. And there are fantastic things there, and they are authentic recordings. If it's like an acoustic recording of African music, like actual instruments and people singing, it was actually recorded in South Africa with someone there. Like they're really great. They're a really great collection of loops. Kevin McLeod, who has a website called Incompetech, INCOMPTECH, I think it is. He's a composer who has a whole massive library of music that he permits anyone to use for free, and you just need to credit him in your comments and stuff. So anyway, that's a few places. There are a number of places you can go to get legal music, and I think also it's a fantastic question. Cameron and I talked about that in the podcast interview, about how we feel like it's important to do things legally with play-along video music and so on. All right. This is Cecilia.
Hi, my name's Cecilia, and I have a question for you. I've tried a lot of different software to take a YouTube video and edit it by trimming it or taking clips from a YouTube video. And I was just wondering what you think is the best and easiest software application to use for this purpose. Thanks.
So my thing with this is that I don't think there's one kind of like good answer, as in one good software option. There's multiple options, and it comes down to whether you've got a Mac or a PC or an iPad or a Chromebook, and maybe what your experience is with any video editing at all in the first place, because there are some really simplified options and then there's the much more complex options. So if you're on a Chromebook, I'll just start there. WeVideo is a good online video editing software option, which will work obviously on Mac and PC as well. If you're on a Mac and you want to just do really simple things, iMovie is already on your Mac, so you may as well use that. That's my theory with that one. And also on your iPad too. On PC, again, you can use WeVideo. Things like Loom and Screencastify have some basic editing tools in them, as in just trimming off the beginning and the end, and maybe like a middle section as well. But that's about it. You can't really do much in the way of adding a fade in and a fade out and that sort of thing. So you'd need more fully featured software for that. And then you can go a lot more complex. But all of them, I find, work in, like the music software programs, they all work in a very similar way. So once you know how to chop the beginning of your video off and the end and add a fade in and a fade out to make it look a bit neat, the principles are the same in all of the software programs. So it doesn't really matter what you use, is probably the bottom line. More complex options, if you want to get more detailed and complex, are things like Final Cut Pro, Adobe Premiere Pro, and DaVinci Resolve and Shotcut and all the things. Many options there. Anything to add, Amy, or I'll just move on to the next one? All good?
No, it
Yeah.
sounded good. I totally agree. It really depends on the device. You're right on with that.
Yeah.
I mean, also just something, and I always like get these responses, but I use this and I use this. I'm like, those are great. So yeah, I really think it's like what you're used to using, what platform you have used, and what device you're on.
Yeah, I did laugh back to that interview with Cameron about his play-along videos. We actually had a laugh in that session because the question is nearly always, what software did you use for your play-along video or your virtual choir video? And it's just so not about the software. They all kind of do the same thing. So yes, there are limitations on the lower level ones, and then you need to maybe upgrade if you're going to do complex video editing, but they all kind of work the same way. It's like the music software too. So yeah. All right. Robin and Screencastify.
Hi, Katie. I'm Robin, and I teach in Palo Alto, California. My question has to do with Screencastify. I'm having issues when I'm using Screencastify to demonstrate, for instance, either a singing part or a recorder part, and I have a pre-recorded something maybe from YouTube or something that I pre-recorded. I play that in the Screencastify, and I either play along on the recorder or try and sing along. When I do the playback, the sync is always just maybe a quarter beat off, and I have not been able to figure out that issue. So I'm hoping you can help with that. Thanks a lot.
Do you have thoughts about this one, Amy?
So, I was working in your chat a little bit there, so I apologize.
Yeah.
There's so much going on in the chat there. So she's saying when she records it, and I'm sorry, I was working in the chat. So remind me what that question was.
The backing, she's playing along to a backing track using Screencastify to record herself playing over the top of the backing, but they end up out of sync. I'm presuming it sounds like it's in sync when she's in the middle of recording.
So one of the things I love about Loom, and you got me onto Loom, was that you have to download it. And I'm wondering if there's an internet issue or a bandwidth issue that she's working with, because Screencastify, correct, is we're usually using it as an extension off of Chrome. So therefore you're using it as internet to be internet based. And I'm wondering if that's what's going on. If your bandwidth, I mean, you can just check your bandwidth or check your internet connection in Google, and you'll find some fascinating issues with your internet that way. I mean, it will tell you right there, like, you don't have enough to do this, or you don't have enough
Yeah.
to do that. And I'm wondering if that's what's happening there. That's why when you hooked me onto Loom, and Loom can allow you to make 45-minute videos for free, and that you download it, I think that's a great thing. Now, if you're stuck on a Chromebook, a lot of teachers are given Chromebooks now. They're not getting the laptops anymore. Now they're getting Chromebooks. And this could be an issue with internet. That's my guess.
That's my feeling too. That was what I was heading towards as well. And I don't think that this is her situation, but the Bluetooth headphones thing, if that's coming into play as well, that may be an issue. I suspect internet, something to do with internet. And you're right, things that are living locally on your laptop, like software that you can download, tends to be less problematic than things living in your browser. So maybe try Loom instead and download it, because you can, I think I mentioned before, you can use Loom two ways: in the browser, like the extension, or you can download the version to your laptop. Loom is free for educators for the pro version of the account, which is why Amy loves it now. It's great. No limitation on video length and that sort of thing. And it's not to say that Loom is better overall than Screencastify. There are still some things that Screencastify does. So if you find that's better for you, by all means stick with that one. But Loom is a good option for this sort of thing. So try that. Hopefully that will help.
Hi, my name is Allison Kirshner, and I live in Lansdale, Pennsylvania, which is just outside of Philadelphia. I was curious as to what your favorite program is for making movies. Do you use iMovie? I think you've mentioned Camtasia before. Or is there something else that you like that you think works even better? Looking for something that's easy to use. Thanks for your help. Bye.
Now, I meant to move this one next to the other one about software for movie making or video making. I did leave it in just to say that I use a couple of different software programs depending on what I'm doing. So I use Loom for everyday kind of like quick recording, quick and dirty recording. I just want to record an answer to something or comment or just teach someone something really fast. Amy and I use Loom every day for answering questions inside the Midnight Music community. It's my favorite way to answer questions. Lots of members say, "Oh my gosh, thank you so much for making a video." And I'm like, you know what? It's easier. I do find it just easier to talk. So Loom is what I use for that purpose. Now, if I'm making a tutorial video for YouTube and it's going to have, different things showing on the screen and arrows coming in and out and fade in, fade out and whatever, all the things going on, I use Screencastify because it has more editing options than Loom does. And that's okay. They just serve different purposes. So ScreenFlow, sorry, did I say Screencastify? ScreenFlow is what I use for those videos. And that is roughly equivalent to Camtasia. So if you're on a Mac, ScreenFlow is Mac only. Camtasia is both Mac and PC. So that's for screencasting videos. Now, if I was kind of making a video which doesn't involve me recording my screen and I want to do more detailed editing, that's where you move into things like iMovie or Final Cut Pro, Adobe Premiere Pro, DaVinci Resolve. That's the one I'm giving myself a crash course in at the moment. But that, again, gives you more complex editing options. So hopefully that's a good answer for all of those. All right, let's move on to another little set of giveaways.
Screencast-O-Matic has been mentioned a lot as well.
Oh, Screencast-O-Matic, yep. And if that's working for you, like there's no right or wrong with Loom, Screencastify, and Screencast-O-Matic are all kind of really similar. Use whatever works. You might just find one feature works better in another one and another, you know. Some people prefer Screencastify because it links a little bit more readily with Google Drive. If that works, go for it. Just go for it. Okay. We're going to give away 2 book bundles. Now, the two winners of these bundles can choose 3 books of the ones that you can see on the screen. I was going to predetermine the bundles, and then I thought, you know what? You can just tell me which books out of the ones you can see on the screen that you would like. So if you are the winner of one of these, we will contact you, remind you what the books are. You can check them out and you can choose 3. There's some great ones in there, and yeah, I won't go through them all. Anyway, I just want to make sure that we move on for the sake of time. So let's go over here. So now let's check have we got more. 232 is our number today for this now. Let's use the LCD timer. What do you call it? Random number generator. What did I say? 232. We're going to let's have a green. All right. Sounds are on. Turn the setting. Oh, did I do that? Yep. Okay. Click. Number 217 is the winner of the first book bundle, and that is Dorothy Burgess or Burgess. I don't know how you pronounce it. Sorry, Dorothy. Let me just mark your name as green. So congratulations. That's book bundle number 1. Let's do the other one. I'm going to click again and hopefully get a new number. 192. I feel like there should be more music with this. 192 is just going up a little bit. Jennifer Keating. Congratulations. How exciting. Let me just mark that name. Okay, good. Let's go back to here. Now, I chose to include, I have not had experience with this particular one, but I'm about to order it for myself. I know lots of you want to make green screen videos, and in fact, the video questions that we've had, I'm putting together a video creation course for music teachers, and in it we're going to talk about making your own play along videos, making your own tutorials with circles and call outs and all those things, but also how to use green screen and how to set up your own system. Now, this is not an expensive green screen backdrop, and in fact you don't even need to spend much money at all. You can use poster board, literally green poster board. So if you come along and do that course with me, I'm not going to make you go out and buy a green screen, although you can if you want to. I have chosen this one because it's a decent size. You get 3 clamps with it. Now, you don't get a stand, but I actually don't want the stand with mine, I don't think, because you need to have room to put the stand in the space that you're working in. So I'm going to hook mine onto the back of a cupboard door. That's going to be
I
my...
have this.
Hey, do you? Oh, how
Yes.
exciting.
I love it. Those clamps are
good.
great. Like,
Oh,
you
I'm so
can't
excited.
break
Yeah.
them. You cannot break those clamps, and you can clamp them on almost anything.
Oh, this is so good. So separately, if you want to upgrade, you could buy a separate, like a frame for it. But also, I think what would work would be one of those portable clothing rack things with wheels on the bottom. I reckon that would totally work well. Anyway, I'm going to give one of these away because I think this looks cool. Let me go to the random number generator again. Let's use the cake one. That's much more exciting. Okay, 234 we're up to. Phew, lucky I checked. Okay, 234. Last minute entries. Okay. Dun, dun, dun. Yes, 193. Dun, dun, dun. Okay, we were near there before. Hold on. We go across. Oh. 193 is Barbara Timmerman, right next to Jennifer Keating. There you go. Awesome. Congratulations, Barbara. You are the winner of that green screen, whatever it is, cloth backdrop. Are we excited about green screen? I'm so excited about green screen. I have 2 teenage boys. They're going to be rolling their eyes over the summer while I set up all my green screen things. There's a couple of Seesaw questions. These are definitely for Amy. I'll play Kathy's first.
I forgot to read the directions first. My name is Kathy Bruce. I live in St. James, Minnesota. That's southern Minnesota, southwestern, actually. And my question is about Seesaw and the best way to embed or put Google Slides into Seesaw. I know that if I want to do, like, say, a Bitmoji classroom and just have the links work, that I can publish to the web. But what if I have a slide that I want them to do something on, or a drag and a drop? I'm not sure of the best way to do that. So that's what I'm looking for. Thank you.
Awesome. So I love how she already knows the option of publish to the web, and you can put the link into Seesaw and then they click and they go out of it. But if you really want that slide in Seesaw, there's a couple of things you can do. You can, number one, recreate the entire slide. So you recreate it in Seesaw, and I've done that. However, if there's only items in that Google slide that you want to move, and there are items you know you're going to lock, then take a picture, a screen picture of the locked items and place that in Seesaw. It'll save you a lot of time, and then recreate just the movable drag and drop items that you want to move around Seesaw. So that saves you a little bit of time.
Yeah, that's a great option, I think. I think that's the only option, really. All right, here's another favorite question, I think, which is a Seesaw. I know, look, Amy's already shaking her head.
I
Hi,
wish.
Katie. What I'd like to know is the easiest way to put an MP3 onto an activity in Seesaw. Thanks.
It's a simple question with such a loaded answer. 5 years ago when Seesaw premiered, you could add MP3s. I know, because I did it. You would add an MP3 and it would put this sorry little screenshot of, sorry, there's no movie, but it would play it. And I don't know why they got rid of it. It was this sad screenshot. I didn't even care because it let me just upload the MP3. So I'm not sure what Barbara's goal is, because that's why this question is so loaded. If you just want an MP3 and they hit the play button, that's all you want it to do, then you need to convert it to a movie or an MP4 file. That means put it in iMovie or put it in WeVideo and stick an audio icon picture on it. So let's say it's the Nutcrackers Russian Dance. Just put that MP3 in iMovie and then stick a picture of an audio file. Then export it as a movie file and throw it right there in Seesaw. You can resize those down so easily. That's one way if you're just trying to stick an MP3. Another way is if you know your MP3, like you're going to record your MP3 like it's you playing the flute. On the first slide, add another slide. And on that second slide, hit the record button, the mic, play your flute in, and it turns it into a file that's not quite a movie, but looks like it. Resize it. And in Seesaw, here's a little Chris Shiner tip. If you resize it tiniest bit, it will blend right into the background, meaning it won't have this square box. Let's say your background is blue, but the audio icon is white around it. If you make it tiny, it will just give you the audio icon. So that's on the second slide. Cut and paste that onto the first. So you can just record right in and do it that way, or turn your MP3 into a movie or an MP4. That's it. Again, it's a loaded question. If you only want to hit play and have it play. The problem is what music educators want and what Seesaw is not yet being able to deliver, because Seesaw jumped, it leveled up when it realized y'all went virtual and we all started using it way more than it was, because Seesaw was just a version off of a Shadow Puppet. So, yeah, right. So the problem is you want to sing and you want them to echo. So you want them to play and echo with the singing. Now that's a much more complex answer. It depends on the device and it depends on like what they're using, what you're using. So I did a YouTube video of this of 4 different ways you could do where, you want them to play along with a track or sing along with a track. So it's an involved video. It's about 10 minutes, but it shows you 4 different ways to do this and then addresses the iOS issue with all of that. But the short answer is you can put things in the comments. You can record into the comments and then have them answer in Seesaw, or you could put in view instructions. Put the video in view instructions so that they can click the video right there on the screen and then click the mic and play along with it. These are really short answers of a very involved process.
It's crazy, isn't it? I think sometimes the applications need to catch up to how everybody wants to use them. I know that, like, for instance, the Google suite of products has been in that position a lot this year, and they're kind of adding things in as we go, which is a good thing. But yeah, it's super hard. There was a follow-up question as well. I know the answer to this one already, but it was about if your I think the question was, if your Google Slides already have audio in them, can you then put them into Seesaw and take the audio across with it? But I'm guessing that's a no, because it's a still picture that you're taking across, correct?
Yeah, so in Seesaw, you can import Google Slides. You can totally import Google Slides into it, but it's not, correct me if I'm wrong out there in the community. It's just going to put them in as one slide per slide. Yeah. Then you'll have to reinsert the audio into it. But again, it's going through those tricks and those little things. Like I said, Seesaw did this 5 years ago. You could add an MP3. And many times when the comments come up, I'm like, you could do it then. Can you get the coders to come back and just put that back in? It's not, you did it once. But I do love Seesaw. I love Seesaw. So I only say it out of love for Seesaw.
One thing, really, isn't it? And I will also mention, so in addition to the video creation course that I'm getting ready, Amy's getting ready a Seesaw course specifically for music teachers. So it's funny because there's so many very specific needs that we have as musicians or music teachers in all of these software programs. You're kind of trying to shoehorn them into what you need it to do all the time. So hopefully someone hears those little pleas in the Seesaw community, because yeah, dealing with audio and video stuff as a musician is the hardest thing when you're using all of these things. And I feel your pain. It's really difficult. I've dealt with it for years, and it's just such hard work. Anyway, thank you. Okay, we've got a few questions related to presentation tools like Slides, Nearpod, and Pear Deck. And oh yeah, this is going to be another Amy one, I think.
Hi, my name is Heather. I live in Kentucky, but I teach in Ohio. I teach kindergarten through 8th grade general music and middle school choir. With my 8th grade general music class, we do a unit on rock and roll music where we cover about 150 musicians. I have a slideshow presentation that I use with them where I've embedded YouTube videos of the various artists performing so that they can see how they performed live. And sometimes when I click on those videos, the videos have disappeared from YouTube, and I can usually find them again very quickly. But after I've already watched a video, previewed it, made sure it was okay, and embedded it in the slideshow, it's really annoying when the video suddenly disappears. So is there a way that I can fix that so that maybe they're saved in my Google Drive, or some way that they're not it's not possible for them to disappear and they would stay then in that slideshow, so that I don't have to keep going back and finding the video again and previewing it again? And I love the things that you have shared with us, and you have been a lifesaver through all of this online and hybrid teaching. So thank you very much for what you do.
Thank you, Heather. You're lovely. And this wasn't the one I was thinking of, Amy. There is another one that I'm thinking is a good question for you, but you can feel free to answer anyway.
Okay. Yeah, no, there's 2 kind of questions she asked there. So number 1, she previews these YouTube videos, she puts them in slides, and then they're no longer accessible. So she's previewing YouTube videos that are probably having a reason that they're getting pulled. So that's always an issue. My workaround on that is this, and I'm not saying this is always a good copyright answer.
The answer I was going to give to.
You could download the video. There's ways to do it. Go look on YouTube, but of course that breaks copyright. And then of course you can find that as well on YouTube, but you could download the video so that you upload it back as your video in your YouTube channel and unlist it. The problem the video is disappearing is probably it has broken some sort of copyright, it got flagged, and it gets pulled off. So you need to have the video in your YouTube account as unlisted. When you usually unlist a video, it's pretty rare it's going to get flagged. Now, I'm not saying it won't, but it's pretty rare because if you're not monetizing your channel, they really just claim it as a copyright, keep it unlisted, and you're not monetizing. So I would download that or screen record that video so you're not actually downloading it, which might be an issue on your school laptop. Screen record the video and then put it in your own YouTube channel. Now, her second part of the question is put it in her Google Drive. I highly advise not to play audio or video files from your Google Drive to your Google Slides and then share them out to your 400 students. What will happen, and this will happen, is you will hit a quota in your Google Drive. And I cannot tell you the number. Someone will say 50. That's a great number. But honestly, the number is fictional. It is infinite and beyond. I don't know what it is, but it's like Buzz Lightyear. I have no idea. It's infinite and beyond, but it will hit this. And then all of a sudden your students will say, it says it doesn't play. And that's because it hit that. Google Drive was never meant to be a media player. That's why they own YouTube. So have your videos uploaded to a YouTube channel you have created and make sure you click unlisted. Now, Katie, what is the reason? Like, don't you have to verify your YouTube account so that you can get more videos or longer videos into it, correct?
I don't know about that. I think, well, there's limits of like followers and subscribers in order to do extra things like monetizing your channel and stuff. But I don't know about another option there. So
Thought you had to verify.
Yeah, my experience with unlisted videos. So, you know, I try to be really squeaky clean with all copyright stuff at all times. But there is one time of the year, often this time of the year, where I make a video for my running group, and it's a compilation video, and it often uses commercial music as the soundtrack. And then we want to share it. And, you know, if I have ever tried to upload to YouTube, it's not happening at all. Even though I make it unlisted, it has still not passed, not even gone to the upload point of view. So it's not even made it to that point. So it just depends on the soundtrack. And I don't love doing it anyway, because I really do try to pay for music where possible or use copyright-free music or make my own, because I think that's the best way. But yeah, it's really hard. And, you know, it is against terms and conditions of YouTube to download videos from there, all sorts of things. And I kind of laugh when you see the YouTube videos which say, I don't own the copyright to this video in their description. I'm like, what does that mean? What's that going to do? There's nothing. It doesn't mean anything. Anyway. Nice try. So yeah,
Katie, people are asking if you can be randomly flagged in YouTube. I don't think you can be. I don't know if you can be randomly flagged. Usually, you said, you're uploading it and it's automatically flagged. Yeah.
Yeah, and then there's actually two things that I've had because this is why I refuse with the running group. I say I am not jeopardizing my YouTube channel because it's my work, you know. So I've had two things. One is that the video won't even go anywhere because, like, if you use, I don't know, Bruno Mars Uptown Funk or particularly Disney stuff, it doesn't even make it past the upload point. Like, it will say, hey, it looks like your video has copyrighted music. Too bad. So that's one thing. Sometimes, to give you an example, 2 months ago, I think at the live webinar, I played some music through my Spotify account as we were warming up, you know, like before.
I remember that, yeah.
So I got off the call, and because this is YouTube Live, I went to my YouTube channel just to trim the first part off, and it's like, we've detected copyright music in this. And then it had a list of the tracks I had played and everything. It wasn't a big deal though, because either you fix it and take the music out, which was what I did. Well, I was intending to do anyway, because it was before we officially started. So I just trimmed the beginning of the video off. And the second thing is you have the chance to like replace the soundtrack, or, you know, like it's not like, I want to say it's not like they'll just like penalize you without you knowing. I have heard actually that sometimes they do. So just be careful is the bottom line. But yes, that can happen. The other thing that can happen is that you use copyright music, it gets uploaded, and YouTube says, hey, we recognize that you've used Bruno Mars Uptown Funk. That's okay, but we're not going to allow you to monetize on this video, and they will turn that function off if you have it turned on as a channel thing. And you just can't monetize, and they will automatically add the credit to that video in your description. You know, so under some it says in this video is Uptown Funk, Bruno Mars, published by Sony or whoever the company is, and it will have that information there so that people can click through. So it's not like they don't allow you ever to use copyrighted music. I just think it's a risk. It's a risk. So you just got to be aware that don't spend hours and hours on something and then be heartbroken when it disappears or doesn't get uploaded. Oh, it's hard. All right. Another question. Kathleen, getting song to play through slides.
I'm looking for a way to insert an iTunes clip or a song into a Google Slides presentation so that it plays continuously throughout the slideshow and doesn't stop when you advance to the next slide.
So there's a way that you can do this. Maybe I'll just actually jump over to slides and show you for those that don't know, because the wording is weird in Google Slides for some reason. Oh, sign back in. Sorry, read the screen. Hang on, I've got to sign into my Google account. This has happened more than once during a live session. It's real life situation. You know that it's live when these sorts of things happen. Oh no, now I've got to sign into LastPass. Really? Hang on, hold it. Yep, I'm going to have to sign. Okay, I'm not going to do that in front of you all, so let's just pretend.
Can I share my screen? Is that possible?
Yeah, do that. There's a button you can click. So if you
I
add
got it. Yep.
there's a little I can't remember what the wording is. It's something that's different. So in Keynote and PowerPoint, it says, like continue through entire slideshow, but it says something, it's the same wording, but not in Google Slides, and it's easy to miss for that reason. Do I need to let you do something? Oh,
I don't know. I think I did it. Do you see it?
No, hold on. I can edit
Seeing
the
it.
screen. There we go.
I see me. Yeah, there it is. All right. So here I am. Oh gosh, where am I sharing? Oh, good. Here I am. So let's say I want to add an audio. So if I go in and add an audio file of, hope something's going to come up here. I hope.
Yeah.
But it's only going to show MP3s, right? So there we go. Can't sit still. Great. If y'all know this one, it's the Wiggles, basically. So right here, this is what Katie's talking about. It says stop on slide change, uncheck it, and then you're good.
It's ridiculous, the wording. It's not make it continue. It's stop on slide change, but no, I don't want that. It's like the negative, weird, backwards version. I don't know. It's strange.
You have to share your slides again. Now I'm like big on your screen.
Too good. I'm just going to, before I play the next question, I'm going to do a little check-in with people. I was kind of hoping we'd get to the 2-hour point and we would be finished, and we're not, but that's not a surprise because that never is the way it goes. It's getting late for some of you in the States, so I'm going to get through these questions here and the next giveaway, and then I may jump to the last giveaway straight after that, and then there's a whole section of questions which we may not get through today. Now, I did predict that this might happen, and what will, if you are one of the people who submitted a question here, I may well just record answers and put them into the Flipgrid topic where you all recorded the video in the first place. So let's get through these last little questions here about slides and Nearpod and Pear Deck, and we'll do the 2 lots of giveaways, and then we'll just check in with people and see how we are. Oh, this is the one I was thinking of, Amy, I think.
Hello, my name is Rebecca Schmidt, and I'm from Northern California. And my question has to do with audio recordings. So I once made a Google slide presentation for my students on musical genres, and I had little samples of each style. I had like 24 different styles, and it took absolutely forever to upload the audio recordings into my Google Drive, change all the share settings, input them into my Google Slides presentation. And so I wanted to know if there was a faster way to insert audio recordings into Google Slides. Thank you so much. Bye.
I'll answer one part of this question and then I'll let you chime in, Amy. The whole thing about having to set permissions on individual audio or video examples that live in your Google, live in Google Drive. The thing I've done for a long time, and I know Amy picked this up as well, is to set up a folder which has the permissions set on the whole folder, and anything you add into that takes on the permissions of the overarching folder. So you do not need to go into every single separate file and set the permissions for all of those individually. So that is the biggest tip with that part of the question. Do you want to answer anything else about that whole thing?
No, I know some in the chat were saying that their MP3s take a while to upload. I don't know a faster way around that, but I will say this because this has happened to many of us who share out our Google Slide folders with inserted audio. And we do all the right things. Like we made the folder, everything is shared properly. So and we force copy it. So you won't break into ours. You get your own and you can put your own Bitmoji. So you grab it and everything plays perfectly. All the audio files perfect, right? So you share it from your Google Drive to your students. The problem is when we forced copy all those audio files, you didn't actually get the audio files. So you're fine. It works fine for you, but your students go to access it and the audio files are still being dragged from my drive. The school flags it for the students because they're like, nope, that is not our school. And so the students are sitting there trying to play that virtual boomwhacker and it will say it needs Amy's permission. So then I get a variety of very unique messages from students. Help, my teacher will kill me. Can't you just give me access? And I'm not lying. This is exactly what they say. I am going to fail. What can you do? Please help me. And you can't share because the school has safe walled it a lot. So the workaround is, first of all, always test what you're sending out to students and do that by creating your own student Google account. Please do that and check because you need to know if your students are at midnight trying to get that assignment done. And the other one is, when we do stuff like that, where we share out something with inserted audio, we need to share out a folder with all the audio files. And Jen asked for that. Get me to break. And then in Katie's community, I'm going to share the recorded boomwhacker and the recorded xylophone files with you in her community.
Fabulous. I love it. I will also say that for those of you who are playing along with the Advent calendar, and I would have shown you this if I could get into my Google Drive, but it's just too hard at the moment. Yep, still not signed in. I've set up a collection of individual boomwhacker images plus a group boomwhacker image and also individual boomwhacker sound files that play 1 octave from C to C. So they will appear in the Advent calendar. I think that's correct, Katrina, isn't it? Hopefully I'm not leading you all up the garden path, but they will appear in the Advent calendar sometime between now and December the 25th, and I don't know what day it's on, so you'll have to just visit each day and check it out. So good. All right. Let's just hear from Caitlin.
Hi, my name is Caitlin Dakasitz. I'm from Utah in the United States, and my question is about Pear Deck. I've heard about it, but I don't really know what it is or how to use it. So I would just really appreciate some tips about Pear Deck. Thank you.
And I may just play the next question as well because it's along the same lines.
Hi, Katie. My name is Beth, and I am from Pennsylvania in the United States of America. And my question is, I've been hearing a lot about Pear Deck, but I'm familiar with Nearpod. Does Pear Deck offer anything Nearpod does not? I would be comparing the free feature of Pear Deck with my school subscription paid version of Nearpod. So what are the pros and cons? Am I missing out on anything? Thanks.
So my feelings with this are, so first of all, if you don't know, Pear Deck and Nearpod are both things to make your slides more functional and more interactive with your students. So you can add questions that your students will be able to physically answer during a live session that you're doing with them, or even asynchronously. You can set it up so that they can do things when you're not in a live session. So depending on your teaching situation, you've got everything covered. They're kind of similar and they're very different at the same time. Pear Deck to me, to be honest, I've said this before, it took me a little while to get my head around both of them. I just kind of had to play and watch some videos and see what other people had done. Maybe some of you are in that same boat. Pear Deck is a little bit more straightforward to use, but there's a couple of limitations on the free version, which are deal breakers, I think. One is the ability to have students drag and drop elements into place to answer a question that you set for them. And the other one is to draw on the slides. And both of those things are really, I feel, really important for music teachers, because you want them to draw notes on a stave, or you want them to draw a stick notation thing or something like that as a response to a question you've asked. Nearpod has more things available to you in their free version. And my feeling, if you've got paid Nearpod, there's probably Pear Deck's just different, and probably it wouldn't be worth pursuing that. I don't think you're missing out on a lot if you've got paid Nearpod already by not using Pear Deck. But you could just play with the free version to see what it's like. It is a different look and feel and functionality to a certain degree, but Nearpod has a whole stack more going on, and I will say it's really I did a webinar earlier this year, which was something about increasing engagement. You could go back and watch. I did a section on Nearpod and Pear Deck. It would be worth watching that just for a brief overview. Aileen Miracle, who's an elementary teacher in the States, has Nearpod stuff. So go to her blog. It's remind me what her blog's called. Anyway, search for Aileen Miracle and put the
Mrs.
word
Miracle, right? Isn't it Mrs. Miracle?
Mrs. Miracle's music room. Anyway, look for her. She's fabulous and has fantastic stuff. So look for her things. She's got like examples and, things you can look at. That would be my advice. Anything to add, Amy?
Now, I just a lot of schools who are using Google are going to give you Pear Deck, the subscription to that, just because they work so well together. But Nearpod has a great extension, right, or an add-on for Google Slides. And I always say that Nearpod's kind of like Pear Deck on steroids. It gives
Yeah.
you a little bit more.
Agreed.
There's a lot of prepared lessons that you can pay for in Nearpod. I think David Rao of Make Music Matters, I believe he has some lessons in there. At least I know he uses it. And
Yeah.
yeah.
It's well worth seeing how other people use these, I think, just so you can go, oh, I got it now. So it's worth going to search in some of the elementary music teacher Facebook groups. I say elementary because they're sort of more frequently used by them. I don't know, maybe not. Middle school as well. Go searching in some of the groups and see what's in there as examples. Julie's asking about ideas as well.
My name is Julie, and I teach in Montemita, Minnesota, near Stillwater. And my question is about Nearpod, wondering if you have any great ideas for using Nearpod in the music classroom.
Sorry, I should have played hers earlier, the rest, which is basically we've talked through some options there. So, yeah, I would definitely go looking, go back and check my previous webinar just for a basic overview. I do show some examples in there. I've got a couple of videos where I show you ideas for using both Pear Deck and Nearpod. So hopefully that's a help, Julie. Oh, yeah. I really need to sign into my Google Slides. Hold on.
Hello, my name is
Oh, it's very soft.
Sakura. I teach in Indianapolis. I'm at a pre-K through 8th grade school, and we do a combination of mostly we're inline full, but we also teach online when kids are sent home for quarantine. I am using all sorts of technologies. Our school is technically Google Classroom, slides, and all of that, but we have to have it provided or be able to have it accessible on everything from PC, Mac, Chromebook, iPad, tablet, or phone, whatever device a student has available. And so everything we create has to be accessible and usable on all of those. And my biggest issue that I've had is the creation of sound, and it will work really well on PC and Chromebook, but then videos or sound doesn't always work on cell phones or iPads, especially when when I'm trying to do something like create a virtual xylophone. I find with the iPads, the sound either doesn't work at all, or you have to double click, which prevents you from actually creating a rhythm in a piece. And I remember in your free Google Slides webinar that you did a couple weeks ago, you mentioned that there was a way around that to remove the sound button and have the whole bar be accessible. And I was wondering if you could talk more about that or share any other ways that I can make my technology programs and what I send home for virtual learning more equitable among all the different technologies. Thank you so much for your time.
Sorry, I hope you could hear that. The volume was a bit soft on her video. So she's asking about getting audio files. If you're making teaching resources, getting the audio files to be able to work on all devices at the other end that the students are using. And then that last part about replacing the audio icon with the image and slides. I'll tell you what I'll do, Amy, if it's all right. Do you want to answer the first part of that question? I'm going to just turn off my screen sharing, sign into my Google account. Off screen.
That question about playing across the devices is challenging. It happens in Seesaw, it happens in Google Slides, and I notice if I don't test everything on different devices, especially my remote learners, I can't actually always help them in the time of need. That one that I made with the Google Slides with the audio inserted works great on Chromebooks and laptops when you're using Google Slides that way. When you go into the iPad, she's exactly right. You have to double click and it just doesn't work with the rhythm. For something like that, I would split screen the iPad and do like the Play Xylo app, playxylo.com, and have that on one side of the screen and then your music on the other side. And again, that was my last, I think it was my last YouTube or second to last YouTube episode. I talked about splitting the screen. Another way to do it is if you're on Chromebooks or if you're on like a Mac laptop, splitting the screen is really, really helpful because then they can use the website of playxylo.com and then they can use the YouTube video on one. So on a Chromebook, what you want to do is Alt bracket. You take the tab you want and then Alt bracket. It shoves it to one side and then take the other tab and resize it. Or if you are using the extension, the Chrome, it's the split screen extension. If I'm on this tab that I'm on right now, which you can't see my screen, if I click it, it's going to shoot that and all its tabs on one side and the next tab on all its tabs on the other. So that's really wonderful. On a Mac, hover over the green button on the top of the screen in the window, and it will say enter full screen or tile window to the left or tile window to the right. And when you do that, you'll get the other windows on the screen. I do think split screen is probably the best way to go when you're trying to go across the devices, but it is a challenge trying to show that and explain it. I had a third grader last week hybrid, and I had the IT teacher make her a video on a Chromebook to show her because I wasn't using one, and that helped out a great deal. I hope that answers some of that question.
Perfect timing. I'm just signed into. Yeah, it is a challenge. I do try and test things on all devices before I send stuff out to people, like what you were saying, Amy. Incognito window is your best friend as well when you're doing that sort of stuff. So these are the images, the Boomwhacker images I've made. Aren't they pretty? And then this one here. So that thing that and who was it now? I've forgotten who it was who was asking the question. Karen. Sorry, Karen. What Karen was saying, instead of having this audio icon sitting on top of the Boomwhacker image, you can actually make it so the entire Boomwhacker image is the sound file. It's not going to fix that need to double tap on an iPad, though, I don't believe. I think that's still going to be a thing. It just makes it look a bit more streamlined. So I think, let me just go into present mode. I'm going to lose the vision of everything else for a second, but let's just try. So I can click here to play this audio file. Or, oh, I did that thing where I clicked on the next slide. Let me just try. No, it's going to do it again. Maybe I did it on this one. Oh, there it is. Yeah. So this one has the sound file. The whole thing is the sound file, if you know what I mean. So let me just get out of that and I'll show you how, if you want to do that, it's just an extra step that you can do. So basically, you will find a Boomwhacker image. No, you won't. You'll actually add, okay, I did this wrong the other day. Add the audio file first to the slide instead of the other way around. Add the audio file first, and then you can right click on it and choose replace image and then upload something to replace the image of the audio icon with whatever you want. So in my Google Drive, if I click there, hopefully it's going to show me over here on the right, maybe some Boomwhacker images. Yeah, so I could just choose this one as an example and hit replace, and it's going to replace that icon with the image of the Boomwhacker. Now, when you first do that, it's going to be all cropped and weird. So double click on that image now, and then you're going to have to reveal the whole boomwhacker or whatever image you've added. So just do that first, and then you can resize from there. So reveal it first and then resize to whatever size you need. I hope that helps, but I don't think it fixes that double clicking image on a double clicking function on an iPad when you're playing them there. All right, let's do one more. Oh yeah, Becky's one about Google Slides, Tommy.
Good morning. What I'm really hoping to learn to do is how to advance Google Slides on my time and not their own preset times. For instance, I've learned how to get music to play through the entire presentation without having to click each time a new slide comes up. But when I try to set it to automatic timing, it only gives me certain seconds I can choose from that they've already chosen. So that's my question. Thank you. Happy holidays, everybody.
So I don't think that there is a way that you can change the preset things that are in that drop-down menu, like if you want it to be very, very specific for that. But I would get around, I don't know about you, Amy, but I would get around this by maybe making the whole thing into a video and advancing the slides at the timing that I want. It's not an interactive slideshow then at that point. So it really depends what you're doing and what you've got. What do you think?
Yeah, I agree. It depends on what the goal is. I'm not sure I'm understanding the goal. And I agree with you. If it's supposed to advance at certain times and the students don't need to interact with it, yeah, then I would just grab Loom, hit in present mode, full screen it, and then click through the slides. That's what I do with the rhythm play-alongs and the melodic play-alongs.
Yeah. Yep. That's what I would do too. So I'm not sure if that answer, hopefully, Becky, that is a little help. I'm going to do 2 lots of giveaways at once, and I know it's getting late. We've got people needing to go to bed. If you are not here, I don't know why I'm saying that, but if you have left already, it's okay. You'll still be in the draw. Let me double check where we're up to now. 242 people. Let's go back to the cakes again. 242. All right. And what are we drawing? Sorry, I forgot to check that. Let's just check the giveaway for this one. Oh, this is 12 months membership to the community. And then after that, I'm going to draw this one, which is a mini tripod, because I find that a tripod for your smartphone is one of the most useful things you can ever have ever. And it's ridiculously simple, and it just makes making videos a whole lot better, having a place to put your phone. This one has, like many, a ball head where you can tip it sideways and up and down and back and forward, which really helps as well. All right, so let's do this is 12 months access to the membership community first of all. I'm going to hit again and then generate. The cakes are ridiculous. 242, right near the end, I think.
Yay!
At the end. Diana Swenson, you got in there last minute. Well done. So I was going to say there were 2 memberships being drawn today, and if you were already a member, you would get 12 months added to your membership. So Diana, welcome and congratulations. That's exciting. And I'm going to go back to that one again, and this is the draw for the tripod, the little smartphone tripod. This is 181, and the winner is scrolling back up a little bit. Oh, went too far. Christine, second one. Oh, I don't know. Dilemma. I feel like
we're the same Christine.
Same Christine. She's entered twice. I probably should have turned on the thing where you can
Lucky. Christine, you need to go get a lottery ticket because you've won twice.
Totally do. I'm gonna mark it. I think this could be controversial if we redraw, so let's just leave it at that. And let me go on to the other one. And I think these are going to be drawn with I think these are the other place. Hold on. Down. Okay, choir creator. So for some of you that may have entered this already, this is a 1-month trial for the Choir Creator app, which is a paid app, and it's very new. It's just been released last week. And there are 12 1-month trials to be won for this app, so you can check it out. Now, this app is only currently available in USA, Canada, and Australia. So hopefully the winner has not come from a different country, and it's iOS only. Now, the other countries will get access to this app at some point in the future, but there's no date for that yet. So unfortunately, this giveaway is only open to people in those countries. So I'm going to go across here too. This is the place where some of you have been entering competitions. Oh, and let me just see if it actually worked. Maybe it didn't even work. I was having trouble with this. Okay, good. We've got 79 people that entered this one. So this says ready to award. Now, I think as soon as I click this button, this is set to award 12 people, and it's only going to show email addresses because that's all that gets entered. So I won't read out names and email addresses and that sort of thing. I'm just going to hit this button. And these are the people. If you recognize your email address on there, congratulations. And we will send you an email and give you access to the code that you need to redeem a 1-month trial. So yay, congratulations. All right, I'm going to go back to the dashboard, and I don't think I lose that, I hope. It's on the video, it's fine. The other one that's in here, and I think this is next on my list anyway, is another 12-month access to the Midnight Music community. This is a competition which we set up via the Advent calendar that we have running. So again, this is a different place where the entries were gathered. And if you've ever wondered, if you entered this, you might have noticed that you were able to get extra entries by subscribing to the YouTube channel or subscribing to my podcast. If you've ever wondered if that's actually real, I can tell you these are the number of contestants, 686, and there are 4,198 entries to the competition. So again, I'm going to click this button. One person's going to appear on the screen, or their email address. Who is the winner? Da, da, da. Murray at saintmpl.org. Congratulations, you are the winner for that competition. And lastly, this is the last Google form giveaway, which is a 45-minute Zoom call with me. I really hope this is actually useful for someone to chat to me about whatever you would like, personal tech questions, just personal stuff generally, whatever. I don't mind. 45 minutes and I'll help you out as best I can with anything music, tech, education related. And I'm going to go back to the Google form for this one. And the winner, yep, we've still got 242 there. 242 again. Dun, dun, dun. Congratulations, number 195, who is down here. Oh, my eyes. Angie Godfrey. Congratulations. I really hope that's a useful thing for you. And sometime in the new year, we will organise a time which is mutually works for both of us. Anyway, all right. Let's just wind up. I'm really sorry. I knew that we were unlikely to get through all of the questions. Actually, did we? No, there's the whole miscellaneous section here. So if you were in that section, I will do my best in the next few days to answer the questions in the Flipgrid topic, and we will send that out to the mailing list so people can catch up with that. But just I will add lastly, and there are a couple of links on that Wakelet collection that we had going for this session. The course, which is video creation for music teachers, there is a sign up for the wait list for that course if you just want to get informed about when that's available. A little bit of behind the scenes information will be sent out in the next month or so. And also for Amy's Seesaw for Music Teachers course, which is coming out in February, we have a link to sign up for that for more information as well. And I'm just going to show this one, which is the PD certificate link. If you are still here hanging on, goodness me, well done. We will also send this out in an email, but midnightmusic.com.au/PD December is the link where you can get a certificate for the time that you've spent today. Forever and ever and ever and ever. So thank you, everybody. I will just stop sharing my screen and go back to Amy. We're just going to go back to side by side for a minute.
Hello.
And then I can look at the chat window a little bit more easily. But we won't linger for too long. I won't keep you up forever, everybody. But thank you so much for coming along. And it's nice to do this sort of question time. Maybe this is a thing that we do more regularly, once every couple of months or so. I really struggled with, do I just choose some of the questions that came into the Flipgrid topic because I knew that we wouldn't probably get through everything, or try and do all of them, which we did, but we didn't. Anyway, I think it's really worth hearing from other people and just hearing all the questions. So thank you, everyone. Thank you for all the thank yous. Keith Simmons, I don't think we got to your question. I know that you've submitted a couple. Oh, and I wanted to also mention, if you submitted a tip, you shared a tip on the Flipgrid topic. I don't know if I said this already. I knew that there would not be time to share all of those in the webinar today. So I've decided I'm going to record a podcast episode and actually feature all of those tips in the podcast episode. That may well come out next week or the week after. So keep an ear out for that, particularly if you contributed a tip to that topic. And there's still time to do that if you want to do that too. I will pop a link in the chat window, or Katrina might. Anyway, thank you so much. Thank you for all the thank yous. It's great to see everyone on, and I really hope that you have a safe and happy holiday season, no matter what you celebrate or how you celebrate it. There will not be a live webinar in January because I'm doing the video creation course, and I already know it's going to be too hard to do both of those things. So we will do another one in February. And if you're coming along to that video creation course, awesome, because it's going to be lots of fun. Thanks, Keith. I made Keith stay, said. Yes, it's yeah. So listen out for that podcast episode. You left a couple with things, which was great. It was so nice. Thank you, everyone else. The podcast, Dorothy, I'll let Katrina post links in. Oh, Katrina, thank you so much. She's still here as well. If you go to my website, there's a link actually to the podcast in the menu bar, and you can do that. You can subscribe through Apple iTunes or Spotify or Google Play Store. That was the other thing, and a few other places too. Thanks, Brielle. Thanks, Jean. Thanks, everybody else. Rebecca, Mary, Doug, Beth, and Katrina. Yes. Thank you. Thank you.
Oh, Katrina, thank you.
Thank you, Amy,
Yeah,
for staying up too. Gosh, it's what, 10:20 for you PM, correct?
I didn't notice, but Sarah, she never jumped into the chat, but she did get on. I was waiting for Mom. I need to go to bed to pop into the chat. And I was like, oh, I know what she could chat with us about.
Oh, it's so funny. My boys are home today, and so they always check with me. They're like, should we walk around the other way in the house, like to avoid your screen? And I said, I will actually be on the whole time this time, but it doesn't matter if they walk past in the background. It's not a big deal. It's sort of nice that bless her, I love my dog, but it's been nice to not have to worry about her today. So it's been a good thing. Merry Christmas to you too, Pamela and Caitlin and Jan, yes, 10:20. The stayers on, hanger-oners, whatever the word is. Ukulele Robin. Oh, thank you. That's lovely. Yeah, Shelley, I did get a package at the door once. That's the thing you can't predict. All the deliveries that you get, like obviously deliveries increased a lot this year. And sometimes I've actually put a sign on my front door saying, please do not knock, just leave it at the door, just leave it. You just never know. Oh, Amanda's been singing Six White Boomers. Hilarious. That's a good one. Yeah, I was saying actually Cameron, in that same interview, I was saying to him, he was talking about his winter play along, which he was preparing at the time and has now published on YouTube. I was saying, yeah, we still sing winter songs here, but it's like hot weather for our Christmas. It's hilarious. We have a set of carols. Someone's going to remind me who the composer is. I can't remember, but so there are some carols which actually talk about what the weather's like in Australia as opposed to winter. So the north wind is tossing the leaves is one of them. And yeah, there you go. Oh, Shelley, biggest question of the night. What's on the spreadsheet menu for dinner? Well, it's tonight for me. So it's burrito night tonight. We had to defer burrito night from Tuesday to Wednesday this week. So there you go. And then tomorrow we're going away, me and my boys. We're having 2 or 3 days away at a local regional place called Healesville in the hills. And we're going to go for nature walks and things. Have not done that for a long time. We haven't been away for a long time together. So yeah, I'm starving for a late lunch too. Guest 7298. Sorry, Jen, Santa still wears the full-blown red and white, long sleeves, long legs, everything. And we often have someone dressing up who's sweating like beads of sweat while they're in the Santa suit, because there is no summer version for that. I don't know why.
Oh my goodness.
Why do we do this? It's insane.
Why?
It's just always been that way. But it kind of adds to the hilarity of it in Australia. Like, it's just so funny. Yeah, my running group has a Christmas party, which is a barbecue in a park, and someone usually dresses up as Santa. We're not doing that this year due to COVID regulations and stuff, but yeah, they come in a full suit.
Well, Santa's like in a bubble or behind plexiglass now. So,
Yeah.
kids have
Photos
to.
that I've seen, they're well distanced. Santa has a mask on, and all the family's like way over on the other
Yeah,
side of the road.
or like he's behind them, like behind a shield. And you're like, what's going on in this
I
picture?
haven't seen it. The poor Santa, it must be quite risky to be a Santa this year, or an elf, or anyone else. That
Yeah.
is weird. They must have really thought hard about, do they do that at all this time around? I guess they
Well,
had
I'm
to.
teaching in person. It's kind of the same
True.
thing.
Oh my God. Jen Keating, good night. And yeah, everyone else, good night. Yes, James Wheeler Carroll's James and Wheeler? James Wheeler. Yes, that's the ones. There's a little set. How do we explain it to kids?
I
Is
don't know.
Santa sweet? Santa breaking out into a sweat. I don't know. It's just such a part of what we do here that no one questions it. It's so weird. And do we eat shrimp? We don't call it shrimp. So I'm going to let's set that straight for a start. We don't call it shrimp at all. It's prawns. It's always prawns.
Right. Yes. I remember having this conversation with you when I was in Australia.
Yeah.
You
The
did
whole
explain
ad
the difference.
There was an ad campaign with way, way, way back, like in the 80s, I think. Paul Hogan, who was a big star, Aussie star at the time, and it was the promotional tourist campaign was to put a shrimp on the Barbie, and everyone's like, we don't call it that anyway. It's prawns. It's prawns. And they come in all sorts of stuff. We do sometimes say shrimps when it's the teeny tiny ones that you buy, like, pre-made in a can, or I don't know, something like that. The not good ones. Oh, so funny. All right, I'm going to let Amy sign off at least so she can go. I will sign off as well. Prawns, yes, prawns, that's it. And surfing Santa. Yep, there are sometimes Santas dressed in shorts and thongs, and yep, we say thongs, also called flip-flops. Yeah, it's good. It's good. Oh, but B, who said about blob opera, oh my gosh, go and check that out, everybody. Hilarious. I looked at that this morning. Did you see that, Amy?
Yes,
It's a Google Arts and Culture experiment. Hilarious. So it's going into our advent calendar. I messaged Katrina this morning. I said, okay, I've got another thing for the advent calendar. It'll be in there. Very fun. Lots of fun. Go Google it.
A huge shout out to Katrina, who was dealing
Oh
with the
gosh, yes,
YouTube.
thank you for reminding me. Oh, Katrina, thank you
Yeah,
so much.
Katrina, a huge shout out because that wasn't on the Google Doc today.
Oh my gosh. That was a long one too. Oh my gosh, it's just insane. Yes, thank you for that. Oh, it's just so good having you there. I thought I was going to be able to manage the chat window and talk. No, that's not a thing. It doesn't work at all.
I could when I knew you were going to like focus on an answer. I was like, "Good, I'll jump over here."
I did the same thing. I actually tried to block people on the YouTube channel. Anyway, I will not. The first couple of times we used the YouTube comments, it was totally fine, and I don't know if I've got a different setting happening in YouTube, which spreads it further or something. I don't know. I need to check out what the options are.
Katrina went in and reset it so
Oh,
it was
bless you.
kid friendly. That was the problem. So
Oh,
after that, it
that's
stopped.
good.
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay. I was hitting block. There was too many coming in. So, all right, we'll do that for next time. Thank goodness. Thank goodness. Well done.
It's getting bad.
Really bad. I'm like, oh my gosh. And I was getting distracted as I'm talking. I can see all sorts of words I did not want to be saying. Like, go away. Why do people put on a live video when it's totally nothing that they're interested in?
Just you don't have to stay, leave. But stop writing this.
And just go away. Stop saying bruh. Funny. All right. Thanks, everyone. We will sign off properly. I can go and eat late lunch. Amy and Katrina can go to bed, and all of the rest of you as well. Most of you are needing to go to bed, I'm sure. So thank you so much for being here. And the recording will be available for what it's worth. And I will get through answering other questions at some point in that Flipgrid topic. And thank you so much for leaving them, those of you that did. If you do want to leave a question Still, you can do that. I may keep that Flipgrid topic running just as a place where I can capture questions to add into podcast episodes or into future webinars. And this is great. I might work out how many we got through, subtract a few, and then limit it to that many videos next time around. Anyway, all good. And the sharing a tip topic is still open as well. You won't be in the running to win a prize, but you can still share a tip if you would like to. Thank you. Thanks, everyone. Thanks, Jen. You're great too. All right. Thanks. I'll hit the button.